Stinger Bop complete. Welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. Welcome back to Mondays, which means it is Game of Thrones Day here on Encounter Roleplay. And instead of the Crownlands today, I decided we're going to the Stormlands. I put out a call for people who wanted to play, and you, the Chaos Chorus, told me you wanted to play. So I kicked out most of my cast, and I invited 5 wonderful faces to join us today. Let's go around and say hello to them. And let's start with a familiar face, but new to our little Fireverse, Pope. Hi, friend.
Hey, it's good to be here. It's good to be in the Stormlands. It's good to be a lord. It's good to be a Baratheon. And today I have the delightful privilege to play Lord Darren Baratheon, the Dark Heart. Shortest of his brothers and sisters, and definitely holds maybe a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about a few things, red grass fields, some poisonings, but we're going to have a party. And we're going to show those Blackfire supporters what for.
Get him.
I love the thunder in the
Pope.
background right at that point. That was beautiful.
We love a bit of pathetic fallacy around here. Someone I also love, and I'm so excited to get to drag into this madness and into this world, is the wonderful Deirdre. Hi, Prax.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, y'all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, or Praxworth as me before you see me around on Twitch. And today I get to play the youngest of the Baratheon children, Delilah, who unfortunately had a small problem with poisoning as a child, but she was a very lovely, sweet girl who does absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever, and she's the most polite person, and just, is working as her father's hostess at the moment.
That introduction really reminds me of every time Susie tries to tell me that Allegra is a warm and loving mother that never forgets her stepchild. With that call out aside, welcome, Nat, to the Stormlands. You sent in an application and it said, let me mess with Nuno. And I give you his nemesis.
Yes. Hi, I'm Nat. I'm playing Beric Baratheon today. Just a monster of a man who I'm sure is not at all caught up with the loss of his brother or thoughts of revenge. Or, let's just say I don't regret the things I've done. I regret the things I didn't do when I had the chance.
Regrets. If onlys. It's a terrible time. Maybe we can cheer you up a little bit.
Oh, of course. This will just be a wonderful festival, I promise.
And speaking of wonderful, I'm so excited to have Anna join us in this universe. Hi, Anna.
Hello. Not at all, nervous to be joining one of my very favorite things, but yes, hello everybody. I am Anna, and today I will be playing Jocelyn Baratheon. She is the 3rd child of the 2nd son of the current Lord Baratheon. Sorry, 2nd brother, whatever, cousins, family ties, stuff like that. She is similarly built like all of the Baratheons, coming in at just under 6 feet tall. She is a tourney knight, water dancer, and a somewhat conniving naval schemer of sorts. And she looks very similar to how you see here.
A lady ready to rock and roll. I am so excited as we have exactly Susie's type joining the game. I'm sure that will not be a fact missed. But something also not to miss is the fact that the wonderful Brittany is joining us. Brittany, who screams into the void on behalf of many Game of Thrones families. So excited to have you playing.
Hello, everyone, and yes, I am so excited. Like, I watched the show. I'm watching After the Fire. So, all right, let me introduce my character. His name's Nicholas Rivers, 6'1", 390-some pounds. He has very distinct eyes. This eye is purple. this eye is blue. When you look far away, you think his eyes is blue. But if you come almost face to face with him, you see that he has one purple eye, one blue eye. Is he a Lannister bastard? Is he a Targaryen bastard? I don't know. And I'm very excited to be here. He's he also has I also forgot because I do this a lot. He has dark red hair, almost close to the color of blood. And he's here on a job. And he's also handsome, so will he do his job? He will. If not, I'm sorry. Very sorry. I'm so sorry. That's all I have to say. I'm very sorry.
Someone I'm never sorry about. Susanna Grace.
Hello, it's I, Susie, playing Mother of the Year, Allegra Dorsey, who definitely did write a note to not forget my stepdaughter and leave her at Storm's End. Because I probably would, let's be real. But I'm extremely excited to play with all these wonderful people, most of whom I have not had a chance to play with yet in all my time playing RPGs online. So I can't wait to flirt with them all, break some hearts, cause some trouble, stir up some drama, and then leave fabulously, as Allegra always does.
I'm here for it. I like seeing her arrive and I like watching her go.
Everyone does.
Let's talk about sponsors really quickly before we get into this game and we get too deep down the rabbit hole and into the madness. Modifius are sponsoring us this season. They distribute, create, publish a huge range of games from Tales of the Loop, Dishonored to Star Trek Adventures, and we are in fact playing their new Klingon sourcebook over on Thursday, 6 to 9 p.m. Kapla! I'm going to keep doing it until I nail it. I feel like I'm getting there.
Kapla!
Thank you, Anna. Today is a good day to roll dice. Other shout-outs should go, of course, to Dark Matter from Mage Hand Press. Their Kickstarter is like 500% funded. They are on their way to some mega editions, including a Mecha book. So if you like 5e, but you want to try something a little bit different, check out their space supplement. Dark Matter! And you can see us playing Conspiracy in the Stars on a Wednesday from 3 to 6, which is immediately followed by Helmgar's Cult and a brand new campaign called I Am Pilgrim, which Penny for the Tail is running for us. We're in Japan, it's modern horror, and when I say it's horror, we go hard, we go dark, and it's a great time. That's 6 to 9 on a Wednesday. Those are our three main sponsors, but I also want to shout out World Anvil, which is a wonderful place to forge your worlds, whether you're a player, writer, GM, or you're just like making characters and sharing the stories. It's valid. And not at all just me. We do have a World Anvil, of course, for Crownlands. You can find that under !Crown, WA, if you're live on Twitch. Or if you're on YouTube, check out down below. I put all the nice little helpful links down there so you can click them and see what we're doing and where it all is. That is all of my sponsor spiel from Present Charlie. Let us go to Westerosi Charlie, though. Let us pan across a harsh coastline as a fleet of ships descends upon the ragged rocks of Storm's End, a castle that clings to the cliff as lightning and thunder rattle by. The warm air from summertime in dawn hitting the cool of the sea and creating a turbulence which forever shakes these age-old mountains but has yet to cause them to crumble. Hope, you play the Lord Baratheon. You are the master of these halls and the lord of these mountains. Where do we find Darren as the fleet comes into harbour, the sails furling and anchors dropped?
He's not where you would think he should be. He's actually in his study. Fire burning near in the hearth, mantle above, pretty bare with the exception of one human skull. He sat down at a table lit by the firelight, sitting around a game board for Taffel. It's a game that probably came over with the Andals. Uneven. It is one central force of white pieces, all gathered around one lord or king. And in the corners of the board are gathered, arrayed, if you will, a number of black pieces, all set to try and capture said lord. It's an unbalanced game for unbalanced times, and it's a game of skill. The game obviously has already been played for a bit, as he's looking at a bit of parchment, some form of correspondence, as he moves one of the white pieces and just looks confused, and then just scurries about looking around the table for what should be his next move. Another thing of parchment and inkwell and quill there, as part of a long-distance correspondence. And then he just can't help but talk to himself. Confound it, Helena. Why are you so good at this? And finally just moves one piece on his board, looks at it, and then immediately moves it back off. And it's just sitting there, now, like, chewing the top of the quill and running it in his hands as he's trying to figure out where to place this piece next.
And Deirdre, where is Delilah as her father plays in this endless battle?
She's probably finalizing the last requirements for the guests, making sure things are ready, kind of glances out a window from the hall to see the sails pull in to harbor, and kind of has a count in her head about actually how long it'll take everyone to disembark, start progressing up to the keep, how soon she needs to have everyone prepared to be standing for a receiving line, and exactly how much time it will take her to get her father out of his study and away from his game. And then it's like, I'll have to add an extra 3 minutes because he's probably frustrated, so that'll be a thing. And this moment of just like ticking boxes in her head at the same time. She's young, 17, long dark hair like her father. Also like her father, the shortest member of her family, standing at a mere 5'5". In a long yellow dress with black accents, and seems to be very comfortable in the role that she's taken on recently. Just trying to make sure that everything is as it should be, to give the correct impression to those who are coming that the Baratheons provide the best welcome, no matter who's attending.
I would like you to make a status reading test, please.
Okay, so just so I make sure that okay, so I have just for the Roll20, if I click the status, or just click read.
I would click the status, and it should ask you if you have any bonus dice, and then you can input on that. That's probably the best way. Sometimes if you click the specialty, it goes a little wonky.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So it's a 17?
Very nice. On a 17, you have the servants diligent, ready, timed. They've rehearsed themselves what they need to do, and everything is arranged as you would wish it to be. The entrance of your guests will go without a hitch, at least as far as you're concerned. You have done everything you can do. Beric, where are you?
Beric's in the rain. walking along the walls, pacing, waiting for the ships to come in. Very damp, but not bothered by it. Staring down, waiting, watching. And he finally sees the ship pitch into port. He breathes a sigh. He descends back off the walls to go rouse his father.
And we follow you through the corridors of Storm's End, dripping as you stride. Ahead of you, out of another corridor, steps your sister in her yellow dress. Both of you on the way to find the Dark Heart.
You're dripping, Beric.
Well, it's not like these guests are worth our entertainment anyway.
It's not their worth that matters, it's ours.
And I imagine you have that entirely under control, do you not?
When do I know?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not wrong. I just want you to drip on the trust.
They'll take some time to get up the steps. I'll be fine by the time they're here. And do you want to deal with our runt or not? Or should I?
I can go and get him. In company.
That'll be fun.
I'm sure. You're not going to wear that to greet the guests, right?
Like I said, I will get perfectly presentable by the time they're here. How long does it take them to come up the steps? Up the way? You know,
37
you've
minutes.
timed it, haven't you? Thank you. And how long do I usually take to get out of battle garb?
With or without help.
You track both?
Yes.
I really need to stop underestimating you.
Usually. It would be a good thing.
Never underestimate the women of this house.
Papa, you're actually early. I'm impressed.
I decided to leave correspondence with your Aunt Helena for later. She has
How's the game
confronted me
going?
again. That well. It's that well. Another reason why you never underestimate a woman of House Baratheon, regardless of who they're married to. They're still a stag. Alright. So, I guess the odious folk have decided to arrive at our shores.
You invited them.
I did not. My hand was forced because of the absence of leadership by the Lord Gargalen, who continues to be a thorn in my side. Someone had to organize these lords, someone who Baelor trusted, and therefore it fell to me while Darren decides to twiddle his thumbs about whether or not to give this permission or not. So, would play Happy Merry with all of these very angry, war-hungry fools until we get word from either Gargalen or the good king himself.
Just be yourself, Papa. Everything will be fine. Everything's arranged.
I can't be myself. We have poor
That's a
guests.
horrible idea.
I meant yourself as Lord Baratheon, not yourself as yourself.
It's like telling me to
That
be
reminds
myself
me,
in front of
if-
these people.
Eric, we both need to be on our best behavior, if for no other reason for our relationship with the good Lord Baelor and the sake of your sister's prospects. So, we both need to hold our tongues and be nice.
I've heard those
Use a
run
gesture.
around a few times by now.
I know, but I also remember when I was your age. And I know that there are contemptible folk about. Try not to get into any duels, at least not today.
I want to get into any duels that I know I can win. How about that?
You can win all of them with these folk.
There's no one coming that you can't best in any form of contest with a sword, brother.
That's why I was trying to get away with being okay to duel people. Because I can win all. Sometimes being known by your family is such a disadvantage.
No, it's an advantage. It's only a disadvantage when they're poor family. Now then, speaking of family, where's your cousin?
And in this moment, we will pan to Jocelyn out. Storm's End, where are you?
Jocelyn is currently in the cabin of her flagship, the Antler Salt, having just engaged in some rather vigorous exercise, shall we say, with a shortish fellow with some close-cropped blonde hair. And as they have finished, she just kind of steps out of the little cabin bed thing, pulls her trousers back on, and is just like, right, well, time to go get ready for that feast, I suppose. This is going to be interesting. And this is her longtime on-again, off-again kind of guy. His name is Willem Rivers. Met at her mother's family's ancestral lands, her mother Abigail Mooton. And they've kind of had this thing going off and on for a little while. They'll see each other whenever she's back in Storm's End. And, yep, just a little bit of that before we get ready for the feast.
Willem lazes in the bunk, his arm trailing down a hand, the nail of his longest finger just creasing against the grain. It's an irritating sound, and he knows it's irritating as he watches you dress, change, prepare yourself.
I think at some point during that period, she just sort of reaches out her hand to where he's scratching the wood and just stop. You know I can't stand that.
Then stay.
I'll try and get away early if I can. But duty calls, and there are people that I need to talk to.
So honor bound, and where you've grasped his hand to stop him, he's going to pull your hand to his lips and lay a kiss on your knuckles. I hope there's profit in it, at least.
If there is, I'll find it. I'm not really sure what to make of these visitors we're going to have, but we will definitely show them a welcome that the Stormlands has to offer.
I will be here when you're finished. Exactly as I am now. And he kind of tosses the sheets aside and just exposes his nakedness.
Just bend down and give him a kiss on the forehead before I leave. And just as she's kind of walking out into the rain, the giant thunderstorm that's going on outside, kind of absent-mindedly just brings her finger up, mirror image, to her cheek where there's a somewhat recent scar there. Kind of looks like the stitches maybe just got taken out and it's still a little bit itchy. She's trying to, assuage that a bit. And she'll go up to Storm's End.
Do so, and you try not to scratch that itch, but it is itching. What is Jocelyn thinking about?
She is thinking about, I think when this feast comes, she knows that her cousins, being the children of the older Lord Baratheon, are going to be the most visible power players probably during this. She is thinking about what's going to be going on maybe like a level below that, to see who's going to be getting the most drunk, the most likely to spill the most secrets, the most likely to show their hand of cards first. And just trying to, suss out some likely people to get a read on, to maybe pry for information later on. By whatever means she has to.
Perfect. And I'm going to say a big thank you to the Chaos Chorus, who have pushed us over that 20 retweet goal, which means one of our players is going to get a boon. I will randomly roll that in just a moment to decide who. It will be one of our 5 guests. So keep an eye out for that. And a small reminder for Susie that last episode we did have a Bane donated, and that will be coming into play today. But if you want to add more chaos to this ladder, more threat of death in this Game of Thrones, you can also donate. Check out the options down below or over in chat. There's pet pals, truths, banes, boons, all of that good stuff. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, so I will mention it now. Let's cut forward in time a little bit. All of the ships are settled as they can be, in the tides that shift around the dock at Storm's End. Rowboats have pushed forward to that craggy shore, and stepping into the Stormlands, Allegra Dorsey. Allegra, what have you decided to wear as you come ashore?
Ooh. Okay, so, and a very similar neckline to the dress I'm wearing, in a very similar color. It is a very rich-looking maroon dress, but it's kind of got like that sort of split sleeve where you can see like the undergarment she's wearing, which is a very richly embroidered silk that's peeking through. And it's like long flowing skirts, which as she gets out of the rowboat, she lifts up delicately. And watching her, she's not putting a foot wrong. Like, she very delicately steps onto the shore and smooths out her skirts. And so I think she's wearing like a nice like silver belt around her waist as well, and a cloak across her shoulders for the rain.
And assisting you from the boat, your lord husband Yanis, who then turns to help the next passenger ashore. He's calling out instructions to others who are making their way, bringing trunks of supplies, things they will need. Bastian Will is the last to leave your small rowboat. He looks up towards that ominous castle that casts a dark shadow down onto the shore. My lady, I believe you have talked me into something truly wicked.
Bastian, you'll be absolutely fine. Now, if you wouldn't mind, if you could accompany my daughter?
He turns and raises an eyebrow. Danella shivers on the shoreline in her best dress with a heavy cloak over the top. She looks dejected as her shoes are soaked through. Of course, my lady.
I would walk with you myself, but... And she kind of like casts an eye to Yanis.
I do not desire to walk with you, Allegra.
Oh.
Let him do that. No, with you I intend to dance.
Oh, well, I very much look forward to our dance. We'll give them quite the spectacle, I assume.
Don't you always, my lady?
You're a smart boy, Bastian.
Or incredibly stupid, but both are fun.
Both are exciting. And she
The
fixes him with
closer
another
to
flirty glare. Because she can't stop herself.
Closer to dawn. Perhaps soon we will have an important conversation.
Oh.
But until then, my lady.
Until then, I await it eagerly.
And you see him greet Danella. He gives her a kind of a polite bow and offers her arm. She looks to you for consent, permission to take it, unsure.
I give her a reassuring smile.
And the two begin to trail up. You can hear Bastian talking to her in his thick Dornish brogue. And if anything, you know him, he's making it even thicker. The closer he gets to Storm's End, the more and more Dornish he is becoming. Brittany. Niklaus climbs out of a similar rowboat to that of the Lady Dorsey. More and more people are coming ashore. There are various crates being carried by servants. But the nobility themselves march proudly towards this zigzagging coastal path up the side of the cliff. The rain is lessening, but judging by that purplish hue in the sky, it's only because another storm is blowing in. A quiet moment. What do we see with Niklaus? And what does he do?
Niklaus, he sets out the boat. He looks up at the purple sky and go, "Oh, it's going to rain, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to rain." And he walks towards where I guess everyone else is walking. And he stops. He kind of stops almost close to. I think he'll stop right next to Allegra and just like he keeps staring at the rain. Like he says this kind of out loud. He goes, "Please do not rain today. I don't need it to rain." He's just muttering it. Just, "I don't need it to rain today."
I think Allegra holds her hand out and feels the very soft pitter-patter of the gentle rain that's falling. It appears you're out of luck, Sir Rivers.
He turns to Allegra and go, "Yep. Are you here for the party, my lady?"
Of course, I am escorting my husband here.
He nods and he's like, "Well, guess I'll see you in there." And he just like kind of stand there kind of awkwardly before he just like, "Yeah," and he like just walks up to where the castle is, because he's like, "Okay, I have a job to do. I need something to do instead of standing there twiddling my thumbs."
And it is not long before you were given many tasks to do. The second you make an offering, more than one noble will turn around and ask you to carry this or that, to find out where this or that is. One will recognize who you are, the assistant to Lord Otherus, and take a large crate from you and instead give you a smaller, it's more of a box than a large shipment crate. And you'll be told this is a gift for the Lord Baratheon, and it would be appreciated if you could take that to Storm's End.
I take the gift and say, "I will honorably give this to the Lord Baratheon. And I do like the shortest bow that he can while holding the box. And he just walks up because he already decided he has to go do one of his main tasks first before he do anything else. But first, he thinks he should give this box to the Lord Baratheon.
And up the winding path you go. Let us pan into the courtyard. Deirdre, for Delilah, a number of guests have already passed through. The Lord Velaryon, who is accompanied by the Lord Donegal Bywater, recently inherited Belsey Castle, which is a large castle, one of the largest in Westeros, dominating an entire island because Susie, Charlie, and Lindy are extra and couldn't stop themselves. He is a older man by your reckoning, but he's lean and wiry, and he walks stern and tall. Lord Velaryon, by comparison, is rotund, and squinting through the rain, his features are relatively unpleasant. But the two talk, and they talk of war, and they pay you little mind as they head for the shelter of the hall. A curt nod, at best, to each noble that they pass, until the Lord Baratheon, whom they greet more kindly. My lord.
Poppy muted.
I enjoyed the
Hello.
synchronized ear tap that just happened.
Yeah. Hello, lords. Good to see you all. By all means, make your ways in.
Thank you. And the two pass. Delilah, you have made a lot of arrangements and you have a lot of interest in those arriving. Is there anything in particular you would want to be aware of? And the same will be asked of you, Jocelyn, because you expressed an interest as well. Let me know what sort of things you're interested in, anything you'd be paying particular attention for, and we'll see if there's a role to see if you can get any information.
I think at this point, Delilah's mostly focused on making sure that there isn't a problem and that all of the guests are comfortable. Like, just playing hostess at this moment. Also kind of playing and making sure everyone just has that wonderful doe-eyed sweet smile on her face.
Okay, make an awareness empathy roll for me. And what about you, Jocelyn?
I think as this procession of people is coming in, Jocelyn is keeping an eye out for, first of all, whatever's in that box Niklaus is carrying around. She's very intrigued by this. Also just checking to see if there appear to be any disgruntled servants or retainers or anybody like that. Anybody that looks like they might just be willing to grouch about things with her later. And I think then she spies Allegra, and she just catches her eye and then holds eye contact for like 3 seconds, and then just looks away like, all right, back to business.
Roll a persuasion seduction check, Jocelyn.
Okay.
Unless that was not your intention in holding Allegra's gaze. At which point you can
that was
roll
that was very much my intention. Thank you very much.
You do have a bonus die if you want to use it ahead of time.
And yes, thank you so much to Matt who donated big crits. So everyone gains one of those, and you get essentially a test dice. So if your ability score, for example, is a 4, treat it as a 5 for this test if you use that dice.
Oh, okay. Well, I will give myself... I'm going to save my donated one because I think I can do this by myself. We'll see.
And I rolled, and Brittany, you will be getting my
14.
extra one.
No 6s,
from
though.
the retweets. 14. 14, still very good. What is your intrigue defense, Susie?
It's 1 degree of success.
So, Allegra, you will notice this young woman looking to you from the line, and the way she holds your gaze. And it's certainly interesting.
It certainly is. And Allegra holds that gaze as to be like, do you know what game you are playing? Can I seduce back in this moment?
Yes, you can. Same test. Persuasion, seduction.
One moment. That'll be a 23.
Oh,
So a degree of success is every 5 above the target is another degree. So the first time you pass it is 1 degree, then another 5 on top of that, 2, 3, and so on. Up to 4.
that's 2 degrees. That's 2 degrees of success.
Okay, so that would be 10 composure damage.
What I will
Okay.
say, with that being 2 degrees, Anna, is in your next intrigue, your disposition towards Allegra is improved by 1 step. So if you were friendly before, you're now affectionate.
All right.
But that will only count for that for the next intrigue. If you have multiple intrigues, it will drop back, or maybe it won't. Who knows? Perfect. And Deirdre, how did we do? You rolled a 7.
That was a 7. That was a 7.
As you watch after a couple of guests who appear to have the sniffles, essentially, you're busy kind of watching after them, making mental notes of who may appreciate more hot soup, etc., etc., good hostess stuff, and you don't notice walking towards you Bastian Will with Danella Dorsey on his arm. And as you turn back and take a small step, you nearly collide. My apologies, my lady.
My apologies, I must have missed. Hello, welcome to Storm's End. I'm the Lady Delilah Baratheon. And she gives just the perfect, curtsy for her station. And welcome. Would Bastian be wearing his house colors distinctively? Or anything to distinguish himself?
Given the weather, I think it's likely he's wearing a heavy coat and he's not walking around with a giant scorpion on his coat as such. Or a snake, actually, it would be a blackadder. But, you would notice that he is very Dornish. From his accent to how he bears himself. May I introduce the Lady Danella Dorsey? And he'll present the woman on his arm. She is about your age, around 17, you would guess. She's pale and seems quiet. She gives you a small smile and a curtsy in return to yours. It is equally elegant, however. She has been well trained.
Welcome, my lady. Why don't you come in and warm up? The weather has not been pleasant.
It is most kind of you. Thank you, my lady. Danella. And he'll allow Danella to step inside first and follow. He turns back and gives you a small smirk, Delilah, and he's going to roll to taunt you, as he knows you haven't figured out who he is, and he thinks it's very funny. So I'm going to roll that right now. Hang on. I know how to play this game. Where's my thing? Okay. 4. There we go. And that's a 17 on the die.
It's against her And it's against her
This
intrigue
is about
defense.
your intrigue defense.
So that's 1 degree of success plus a little. Still under 2.
Okay.
It's just 1 degree.
So your disposition towards him is going to lower by a step, as it's irritating. Like, it's smarmy and it's irritating. Normally he would goad you into an action, but I don't have a set action for you to take, so I'll leave it in your hands as to what that might be. Pope, did you have something?
I want to spend a destiny point.
Okay.
As he is turned away and is taunting Delilah, Darren is also a ghost in this castle. If he doesn't want to be heard, he isn't. And he is right in front of him as he collides.
Oh, okay. Spending a destiny point to add to the scene. I like it very much.
Mm-hmm. And Darren just says, Ritus Axio, will.
And he startles. He hadn't expected someone to be stood right in front of him. He just helped Danella in, and suddenly you're there. My Lord Baratheon. He goes into a low bow, and as he comes up, straightens his cloak.
Ah, common tongue for a common man. Welcome to Storm's End.
I am glad to be here. Your hospitality is famous.
Yes. Your father knew it quite well. Just turns and walks inside.
And he holds his charming smile in your wake. Takes a breath, turns to Danella. He's a terrible man, you know. But don't worry. I know far, far worse creatures than a lumbering old stag. And he'll escort the young Lady Dorsey in. Ooh. Okay.
I think that just is like.
Do you want to overhear that, Deirdre?
Yeah, I mean, like, she hadn't moved. Like, she just kind of froze when she acted like her father comes forward.
Okay, he dropped his voice a little bit, so let's do it's gonna be an easy awareness test, so just roll a 6 or more, and you can have heard it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll say there was a convenient crash of thunder in that moment.
I'm not one. Still
Just on it. You still get a 6. Alright, so you hear it, and go ahead and repeat what you were saying. You broke up a little bit.
I think she just waits and doesn't say anything, and just there's this a little bit of fragility or in her smile that might just barely be noticed as she just says, "Do enjoy the wine." And
You as well,
that's it.
my lady. And he gives you an appraising look, but then turns away before anything else can be said. His attention back on Danella as he escorts her into the castle. But he is certainly now a little warier of the storms in Storm's End. Beric, is there anything you're looking for as these lords and their servants pass? Occasionally their wives and children too.
Beric's still on good behavior so far. He's mostly making himself available, greeting people as would be expected, I imagine, but mostly keeping his ears open, his eyes wide, and being present.
You see a number of people that you would very much like to see in a fight. They've come bearing great ornamental arms. You have seen a Valyrian steel sword pass into the building. One of these lords does bear one. And all of these men radiate this energy of battle in the morning. It's coming, and they all know it. They don't want to make small talk. They smile tightly when ladies speak to them. They're more interested in each other or in brooding. But you know one of these nobles. And Nat, I'd like you to create for me a noble. You don't have to worry about naming a house necessarily, but just tell me a little bit about this person and how he and Beric know each other.
I think he recognizes him by his armor, in that it's a little more... It's much too display oriented than Beric would ever adorn himself with. It's about making a statement, not about protecting oneself. And that's an old... friend could be used in kind company, but much closer to a thorn. Someone he has some issue with. I'm getting a one Melvin as a name. I don't think they've ever actually crossed blades, because Melvin has backed down the couple times it has come close to that. And Beric was... I think he wants something out of him, whether that's just to get him to actually stand his ground for once, or something more concrete I haven't quite snatched upon yet, but there's a desire there. And I'm sure Father would be entirely condemning of the entire affair.
It's one of those frustrating things. You tried to arrange skirmishes with him, quiet duels. And even at the tourneys, you've tried to make it through the lists to ensure that you meet on the field. But something always happens. It's that frustrating moment in A Knight's Tale where Auric wants to really fight, but Adamar is called away to war, or is injured, or something happens and the tourney is called off. It's that frustrating moment. I know A Knight's Tale very well. I don't know anything else. So here we go.
It's a great movie. A great movie.
It is a great movie. It's that frustration inside of you. And he gives you a nod. Many of these lords have just paid little attention to you, really. They just want to get inside. It's fucking raining and they've got a war to plan. But he stops, and the rain, you can hear just tink, 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 tink off of that armor. And he lifts the visor. Well met.
Fine weather we're having.
Eric.
Well met. You know, they say, Storm's End, you need to be careful of what is carried upon the wind. Dangerous things can approach in its thunder. You won't notice them until they're just right upon you.
Luckily for you, I introduced myself. And he offers out Gauntlet's hand, kind of grasp your arm.
Beric will give a good hearty arm grab, you know, the style.
They warned me it was old-fashioned here, so I thought I'd greet you with the old words. But are we well met, friend?
Of course. We have a war to plan, do we not? There's true work to be done. Petty side concerns are put aside in such trying times, are they not?
Or amplified, I'm warned. And he glances to a number of the lords.
Not all are as wise in what it is important to prioritize as you and I.
Would appear not. bloody fools setting sail without the master of ships. And no true consent from the king either. But still, to Tyrosh.
There's a certain lightning to it, is there not? It's exciting.
It'll be good for you to see another battle.
And you?
I have kept myself quite busy. I've been north.
Battles or court work?
Perhaps here in the south, but I have been north and the wildlings are pushing down.
Hmm.
And they don't play by the rules.
No. An enemy who doesn't play by the rules is always the most dangerous. Why? A cornered animal. I hope that armor is serving you well, though.
It's heavy, it creaks, and I fear I'll be struck by lightning, but it makes an impression.
That is its best quality. Why don't we get in from the rain? Away from the lightning.
Enough of this wife greeting. We have much to talk about.
After you. And he does like a stiff, half-hearted bow, kind of mocking the formality that him and Melvin just aren't as into.
Do you not have a wife to wait in the rain for you? And he's making this more conversational thing as you push down the hall.
No, Delilah keeps giving me eyes over the topic.
They're entertaining.
Too, he's a little more subtle.
That's about all
A
they're
wife.
good for.
I'd hope they're good
They
for a
do.
little more than that.
Well, that's yet to be proven.
Have you found one for yourself?
I have.
Based
Cousin
on
of the
your
Lord
word
Tully.
about them?
About as interesting as the Tully lands. But it was on my way through.
The way all this works, the function, the formality, everything done for cause and effect, it's no wonder so many are tired with their others or looking for another companion. Or looking for the thrill of battle that is its own companion. Please, you must comfort me with a duel. Please. Just something for sport, something for fun. Nothing
Now,
for
in the
stake,
rain?
just a little. Oh, no, we can wait until things are a little darker. The rain stops a little bit for the night. A little flash of steel in the night. No one will ever be bothered by it.
As long as the rain stops. I have a new sword to break in, and better to break it on you than an enemy, I suppose.
We can call it training if it makes you feel better. There's a battle to be won.
We can call it entertainment. I'll be your wife for the evening. And it's at this moment that you get the scent of alcohol. As he's kind of getting closer and leaning into you, you can just smell it rolling off him.
At that moment, Barrick takes a breath. Not this time. And he'll guide Melvin to somewhere a little comfortable for him to rest.
He follows you along and continues in this kind of boorish light, talking himself in and out of holes, so to speak. And what I would like to do is move to a short while later, as the guests are now settled into the hall, some having retired to various rooms, others managing the storeroom. Yanis Dorsey, Lord Valarian, Lord Bywater, and a number of others have gone into a side room that the Lord Baratheon has set up. Pope, does Darren have one of those map tables, do you think?
Oh, yes. If nothing else, just for trade, if not war. And being able to track reports, because one thing that the Baratheons track, even all the way back then, was historical weather. A series of bad storms could sink ships. Ships are a costly investment.
They are, and sunken ships are in a way what got us here, as a lot of ships in harbour at King's Landing were damaged, if not sunk, by a terrible storm. And potentially it is storms that have kept Gargalen away. But the men in the war room bicker over the map. They move small wooden boats around. They argue over whether or not an island is where it is etched into the table. And someone closes the door to the sound of it. And Anna, I'd like you to tell me who it is that closes the door.
From within the war room?
It could be someone external or someone in the room, but the door is closed. For the war room, yeah.
Let's have Jocelyn closes it as she walks into the door, or into the room, and she's just like, all right, let's begin.
All right. Jocelyn closes the door behind her. She heads into the war room. Niklaus, where have you stationed yourself?
So everybody's going in the war room. So I would possibly want to be like outside or inside the room.
Okay, let's put you just inside as Jocelyn closes the door to that room.
Okay.
You can see the lords that have essentially led the fleet here are leaning over it and they're busy bickering. They could care less about anyone on the fringes. It's who has seniority. Those are the people they care about. Everyone else can do what they're told as far as these lords are concerned.
Okay. Nick is gonna be like standing like almost near the door, but like he keeps his eyes on what's going on, and that's all he's doing. He's just like staring at this map as hard as he can and listening to everything to make, and like he doesn't know about the bullshit stuff, so he just gets real quiet and just focuses on the map and just listen to everybody.
Okay. I would like you to make a... Have you given Nick any knowledge specialties? Education?
Oh, that is a lovely good he has a foreign language. He has a foreign knowledge, actually. Because I'm like, I don't know. Let's give him a foreign knowledge. See how he does.
Perfect. Yeah, roll me that knowledge then, please. You do have a bonus dice if you'd like to use it. Or I should say an extra donated test dice.
Shall I use that dice? Nah, I'm gonna hold on to it. That cozy dice? No. Nick, come on. Why are you doing that to me? Okay, I don't know. Let's try this one more time. Ah, that would be a 20, ma'am. Did not mean to do that.
Very good. You notice that there are two factions in this room, and they both have very different ideas on the best approach to Tyrosh. You know from your experiences essentially running errands for Lord Otheris via the sea that one of these factions is going to get the ships destroyed before they even reach Tyrosh, because the weather has been particularly bad around a group of islands not far from Tyrosh. And this is interesting to you because all of these men should know this, and you can't decide if it's stubbornness or ignorance or something else, but the factions are becoming more and more entrenched, and they are fighting over essentially 6 ships each that they're kind of dragging. No, we should go this way. No, we should go that way. On the one side, you have Lord Velaryon, the more rotund, slightly grotesque-looking man. And on the other side, you have Donegal Bywater. Yanis Dorsey is currently siding with the Bywater, but he is acting almost as a mediator, trying to reason with Lord Velaryon. The other lords trade off in whose side they favour based on the arguments made. The problem with Lord Velaryon is he is a cousin to the king, and he is also exceedingly rich. And many of these lords do not want to fall out of favour with him, at least not directly.
Right.
So that's the context for you, and that's the kind of information you garner from watching this. And Jocelyn, you would probably notice that they're squabbling and clearly don't know the seas as well as they think they do. But you don't pinpoint it as clearly as Nicholas does in this moment, as I think your view gets blocked quite often by another male body just barging past you to take a place at the table. What do you both like to do?
Rude.
Yes.
I think if she gets blocked by yet another person trying to crowd around the table, she will just sort of like whoomp through the group, put her arms down on either side of the thing and just be like, all right, moving 6 ships around is tedious at the best of times. What you need is somebody who can understand exactly where it is that you need to go, where you can hide, and how best you can use these tools to your advantage. Because right now, what you're trying to do is smith with a hammer that could barely drive a nail through a plank.
Anna, I would like you to make a persuasion convince roll.
Okay.
Unless you were being deceptive in any part of what you said or a lie of omission, but I don't think you were.
I was not. Let's try it. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and use my bonus die for that.
Okay.
That was donated. Oh, jeez. two ones and 2 2s.
Do you have any benefits that will help you with this roll?
Let's see. I do have... Oh, let's see. Do you mean like underneath persuasion? Or just in general? Because I guess...
No, I mean in general,
the
like,
only...
it would be like, let me think for convince. It would be something like dutiful. Anything that would let you reroll on persuasion tests. Attractive, I think, lets you reroll things.
No, oh wait, no, I am charismatic, so I get to add 2 to the results. So it's a 7.
I mean, two helps. Unfortunately,
Yay!
there's a scoff, and essentially you're ignored. someone goes to push you out of the way, but Yanis intercedes, correcting them that you're a Baratheon and this is your house and they should not do that. Like, it's a very hurried, I see what he's about to do, I'm going to keep him from doing that. But you are slightly barged and jostled all the same. And your words fall on deaf ears.
I think as that guy that tried to cut in front steps out of the way, I will just accidentally, on purpose, step on his foot real hard.
Okay. I like it. And you do so, and you see him kind of step back, frown, scowl at you. I'd like you to make an awareness empathy check, please, Anna. And you can also make one, Brittany, for Niklaus as well, who can still be observant. And if you'd like to interact with the situation as well, Brittany, just let me know and jump in.
Okay.
Oh, there's a 13.
Let's see. What does he get? Come on. Why are you like this, Nick? Oh my goodness. You got an 8. Why is he like that?
All right.
I think. Can Nick join in? So when he sees Jocelyn get pushed around, he kind of like he was doing guys arm cross. He goes, my lord, what you're doing is wrong. And he kind of like push some people to the side, and because of his years of sailing with Lord of Theros, he shows them like, okay, y'all think this shit going this way? No, you're gonna get destroyed. And he kind of shows him like the way he would do it from like his years of like sailing and what he sees his father does. He kind of like put the boats in a certain way that they can easily go in, and like, I think we should do it like this. Do anybody have any objections?
Okay, and I'd like you to make a persuasion convince roll, please, Nicholas.
Okay.
As you two attempt to do what Jocelyn had just done in the hope that they will actually listen.
Can I use a bonus dice for this?
You have your test dice, your extra test dice all that side. So that would be an additional rank, essentially. So your persuasion would go up 1 on your roll. It's the easiest way to do it.
So just type in 1 on the bonus dice, or just roll and see what's
okay, so what's your current persuasion rank, Brittany?
It's currently a 0 because I had no idea what to put there. I saw all the I don't know what to do, so I just put it at 0.
Okay, so persuasion will be a 2 as your base. You're always at a 2.
Oh, persuasion is at a 3 right now.
Okay, you're at a 3. Perfect. So if you want to use your extra dice, that puts you up to a 4. If you have any specialty dice, that's the little ones underneath in convince, that goes in your bonus box. So if you click on the persuasion, and then you can put that in.
Okay, so I'm just gonna roll convince to see does he convince somebody. If not, okay.
Okay, are you using your extra dice on screen?
Oh yeah, I am. So
perfect.
Let's see. Oh, I rolled an 11.
11.
So plus 1, so that's a 12. I think I did that right. Wait,
you get an extra dice. It's not a plus 1. It's a plus extra or an extra 1d6. So you're gonna roll up that extra d6. Yep. So if you do /roll space 1d6, or you can do it any of the other ways that you can roll a d6 and roll 20.
Oh, 2.
2. All right. So that takes you up to a what's your base roll? 13. Perfect. On a 13, the lords are not pleased by being jostled. But Jocelyn, you notice that Yanis and Lord Bywater are nodding and agreeing. And a number of the other lords see it now too, as these ships are dragged across the table and rammed into the the carved island that they were all trying to pretend was not there and is. And both Lord Bywater and Lord Dorsey glance to you, Jocelyn, and give a small, you were right, nod. But that's about all the acknowledgement they do give you as they move back. Now, that is settled. Let's move on. Once we cross this part of the sea, we need to decide the best approach for Tyrosh. It is an island fortress. There is a wall all around. Won't be hard for them to see our approach, so it is more important what we do when we arrive. Donegal Bywater takes charge and tries to move the conversation along now that they've decided which course to cross the sea via. And now they're faced with the more zoomed-in view of that island of Tyrosh. And a number of... Sorry, go ahead. Nick, go ahead.
I was just going to say, why have them even bother to see you approach? You're sailing across the narrow sea during one of the worst storms that we have had this season. Why not use that to your advantage?
Sail in a storm truly is the talk of a woman. Lord Velaryon, not happy. His plan just got squashed, and now you're telling him to sail in a storm.
Lord Velaryon, I don't remember. Please help me. Did you happen to be at the Lady Mara Oakhart's wedding tournament?
Briefly.
Ah. Well, then I suppose I can excuse your ignorance. Because, you see, I was there as well, in the field, representing my house and the fine traditions of the water dancers of Bravos. Now, I'm sure that being a woman, I do not have the experience and knowledge of someone such as yourself, but I do know my way around the weak spots of a settlement. I know how to exploit them, and I know how to crack them open like a walnut. So, next time you're at a tournament, you just sit in the stands for the whole thing.
Next time you're at a battle, go to the kitchens instead. I would like to let you roll your Persuasion Convince. And in exchange for you spending a destiny point, you can have this affect more than one person.
Okay, let's do that.
So instead of just targeting him, for example, you can have it almost address the crowd as you're showing him up.
Mm-hmm,
You can roll also Persuasion Insight if you want to make him do something, or Taunt, or Intimidation.
Right, okay.
If you'd like. One of the Persuasion options.
And then I get to add a +2 to my roll for this because of Charisma. Persuasion... I don't have things in either. I mean, I guess I can't just really incite him to shut the fuck up, so I'll try to convince him.
I mean, Marzia has attempted to incite someone to shut the fuck up.
Okay, here's the deal. It's the incite him to shut the fuck up, or else we'll fight.
Okay.
So that's a 15 when I add the +2 for charismatic.
Alright, let me take a look a second at his sheet. See how good this is, young lady. You rolled the good dice. On a 15, it's definitely a success. I'm just checking how good a success it is.
It's like his character sheet? You mean those little shredded pieces of paper that he's picking up off of the floor right now?
Alright, it is just 2 degrees. Because apparently he has no intrigue defense. So, there we go. So yeah, there you go. 2 degrees on that one. And he says something about the kitchen, but it's kind of wobbling out. It didn't come out as solid a hit as he'd intended it to. But you can see the frustration growing in his face and the pure hatred in his eyes as he looks at you at his table. And Nicholas, you see as another man pushes forward and takes his place to join in as the Lord Velaryon is kind of set back a little, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, by Jocelyn. Brittany, are you still there, friend? Did we lose Brittany? I think we've briefly lost Sir Rivers.
Oh no.
Hopefully Sir Rivers will rejoin us. But let's cut outside to the feast hall as Lord Velaryon looks for the many things that Jocelyn just took from him. Allegra.
Yes.
Let's see where you are, and I'd also like to know where Delilah is. The two ladies of their houses, so to speak.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think she's like, Delilah at least is, entertaining guests, making the rounds, making sure everyone has something to drink, and just being a sweet, charming, young lady.
Right, is there anyone
So
in particular you're going after? Sorry, Susie.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, is there anyone in particular Delilah's targeting?
I think she starts by just kind of working her way around, and she's trying to figure out. She's probably trying to work her way towards Allegra, slowly, to try and kind of gauge why you brought that individual with you to our house.
And it is clear that she did bring him because Bastion is sat with Danella, and Danella is never too far from Allegra in a social situation. And he's talking not overly loudly, but he still seems more relaxed than you would probably like a Will to be in Storm's End, and comforted by this lady. And there aren't that many ladies here. Most of these lords did leave their wives at home. A few did bring their families with them, but most did not. And Allegra, is there anyone that you've courted over to keep you company? Welcome back, Brittany.
Hi. Sorry about that.
No problem. Is there anyone that you've caught over beyond Bastion and Danella who linger nearby?
I think she's also probably looking for Delilah, or looking for any of the Baratheons that may be hanging out. Because, it's only polite when visiting someone else's home that you introduce yourself properly and have a good conversation with your hosts. So I imagine that, she's seen to all the packing away of their gear wherever they're staying very shortly, and she's smoothed her way down here. She's probably got a glass of wine in hand because that's just how Allegra do. And she's probably seated with Bastion and Danella, but if she sees Delilah coming towards her, she will rise to speak to her.
Probably would. I mean, she's very striking in this yellow and black dress. It kind of stands out intentionally to try and look like the lady of the house, although not quite.
So as Delilah approaches, Allegra will stand and say, "The young Lady Baratheon. Pleasure."
Well, Lady Dorsey, it was so glad you could join us. And you brought such wonderful guests with you.
I did. My daughter and Lord Bastion will. She says, holding eye contact and not breaking it at all.
Yes, I met your daughter. She was a charming person. I'm quite glad of her company. And I was
She's a lovely girl.
unfortunately not introduced to her companion.
Well, that is most regrettable. And she looks across at Bastion and tuts at him. He's forgotten his manners. I can always make the introduction if you'd like.
Oh, I would love to know who is joining us. I'm sure that someone of your stature and presence would only bring the best of people.
Of course. I don't mix with common folk. And Allegra says as she, quite lowly under her breath, as she turns and gestures over, and she sort of almost like clicks at Bastian to stand. She sort of makes a hand movement. I believe you never introduced yourself to our wonderful host, Bastian.
How remiss of me, my lady.
Terribly
I'm
rude.
certain I would not have forgotten such a thing. Perhaps it was the lady's beauty that distracted me.
Let me make the introductions. Lord Bastian Will, Lady Delilah Baratheon.
Your lordship.
Please, Sir Will. My cousin is the lord of our house.
Well, it's been such a long time since we've had such fine guests from House Will. I do apologize.
And it
for-
has been
Ah.
a long time since a Baratheon has enjoyed the Son of Dorne.
Allegra's just in the middle here, like doing the ping pong eyes.
Well, we do like the sea and the open salt air. I hope you can enjoy it. There are some beautiful views around the castle.
Thank you, my lady. I assure you I am merely on my way home. It has been an interesting time in the Crownlands, and the Lady Allegra Dorsey was kind enough to offer me passage on her ship.
The Lady Allegra is very obviously such a fine escort and such a wonder and joy. I'm glad you could avail yourself of her.
My lady,
I totally Georgia forgot the word. Avail yourself of her hospitality. There we go.
my lady, why do I feel as if you have a question for me that you are not asking?
No question. Just want to make sure that you are welcome and comfortable. Can I get you something to drink? Have you availed yourself of the refreshments?
I would not mind another glass. But,
No.
my lady, will you not sit? I am quite capable of finding my own wine. You have been running all around the hall. Perhaps I may provide you with a drink.
I thank you for your kind offer. I would very much greatly like to accept. Unfortunately, as my lady mother is no longer with us, it is my duty to act as hostess for my father and ensure that all of our guests receive the hospitality that House Baratheon is well known for.
Do not let me delay you. I am sure it will be good for these weary sailors to enjoy a little lightness in such dark times.
Do make
Lady
sure that you
Delilah,
avail
if I may accompany you.
Of course, my Lady Dorsey. Please join us. Would your lovely daughter like to join us as well?
Allegra looks back at Danella. What's Danella's face like? Is she like, please rescue me?
I think Danella is smiling in a way that says, I have no idea what these people are talking about, but it seems very nice.
Okay, so Allegra will be like, she'll turn to Danella. Do you wish to come with us, Danella? A little walk, stretch our legs after all that time at sea.
She's about to, you think, shake her head, and then as you kind of say a little walk, she's like, oh, okay, I'm at sea. Yes, she gives a deep nod.
So Allegra and Danella stand to accompany Delilah, and I imagine like they walk for a little bit. And Allegra says, I was awfully sorry to hear of your mother's passing.
It was an unfortunate surprise, but we persevere, don't we?
And so soon after the passing of your brother, too. I can't imagine what it was like.
Very tragic, and so as we have all experienced in recent years.
Yes, there has been quite a lot of loss. Awful business. But still, I'm so heartened to see how you stepped up. You've become quite the hostess, quite the lady. The fact that you've put all of this together is wonderful.
I thank you, my lady. I'm really following my mother's footsteps.
What large footsteps there would be. Allegra says, throwing shade on the large Baratheons.
Yes, it does seem a little bit harder to walk with certain members of the family. They stride so gallantly across the field that everyone else just seems to get out of their way.
It's very typical of men, though, isn't it? They stride forward, forgetting us in their paths.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, how old are you now? If it's not too rude of me to ask.
Of course not, my lady. I just turned 17.
Oh, wonderful age. And again, if it's presumptuous of me to ask, have you any suitors? You are of marrying age now. I imagine there are many a young man coming knocking at Storm's End to ask for your hand.
A few. There have been discussions. Father has said that he will let me know as soon as such things are reached a point where my input would be useful.
You're not going to let your father choose for you, are you?
Oh, no. I'm just going to
Good.
let him think he is.
Excellent. I like you. Tell me, so, again, if it's too presumptuous, please do tell me, but any notable names among these suitors? Forgive me, it's been so long since I've gone to speak to another woman that isn't my immediate family. I'm relishing this.
Not as of yet. There still dice to be rolled, of course.
It's very sad
Of
that no
course.
one notable has asked for your hand. You are Baratheon, and a wonderful woman. What is wrong with the men of Westeros?
I think they're still quite intimidated by Barrick.
Ah, your brother. Large man. I saw him scouring in the darkness when we arrived.
He is a little bit noticeable. But, one arranges the arrangement of the heir of the household, and then the lady, daughter, can have what she desires.
So your brother has no match either. What is your father playing at?
Many things. I'm quite sure that he has thought of it all, of course.
Oh, of course, I have no doubt he has plans in motion. Perhaps what we need, you need, is a trip away from Storm's End. I haven't seen you at the capital. You need to get out there, get some sun on your face, away from this dreadful rain. Let the realms see that you are the beauty of Storm's End.
I would not mind going to King's Landing and visiting the capital. It would be a pleasant trip. After, of course, the needs here are dealt with. And
Oh, of course.
perhaps I should convince Barrick to come with me.
Perhaps you should. It would be wonderful to have some Baratheons in the capital. Really mix things up a little. It gets a little stale there. All the usual suspects flouncing around in their exorbitant silks. Should be nice to get some fresh blood there, I think.
Quite sure it'd be very pleasant. And you, my lady? Travelling home? Looking forward to that?
Oh, I am indeed. I have 3 children back home, who I miss dearly. I've been away from them for far too long.
Such a shame they could not join you on your travels.
Yes, but they are quite small. The oldest is 6. I would not wish to impart the harshness of travelling upon them so young.
Yes, the travel is difficult for long periods of time, particularly for those who are young and, susceptible.
Exactly. And we live so far away at Cracklaw Point that any sort of travel is a arduous affair. And Allegra deflates at that.
Well, I'm sorry that it's such a travel burden for you, my lady. You should, of course, take the opportunities to stop as you can. Rest and recover.
Oh, I fully intend to. My uncle's house, Belsey Castle, is on the way north up the coast. So once my beloved husband departs for Tyrosh, I will be headed north.
Well, I hope you enjoy your trip and that it is safe and well protected.
Well, if you should feel that you wish to travel and you get your father's permission, you're more than welcome to join me.
I thank you for the invitation, my lady. Unfortunately, the northern airs are not to my disposition.
Susie,
Yes.
is Allegra genuinely trying to convince Delilah to come north, or is this polite conversation? Because if you're trying to convince her, even deceptively convince her with nice talk, if it's like a general intention, then we'll turn this into an intrigue.
It's more polite talk, but it's polite talk with an agenda. She's not trying to say, "Hey, come north with me," but she does have an agenda.
Okay, let's turn this into a little bit of an intrigue as Delilah attempts to rebuff you a little bit. What I'd like you both to do is roll your status reading, and this is going to set the initiative. As they do this, Pope and Nat, I'd like you to tell me whereabouts in the room you both are, if you are in the room.
I'm not in the room.
It's a 50.
I have grabbed a box filled with parchment and correspondence and am on my way to the conversation with the ladies. I have a delivery to make.
Okay. And Barrack.
I think Barrack's in the room. Keeps tabs on Delilah. As mentioned, her state of dress is quite noticeable. I don't think he's super familiar with who Allegra is yet, though, so he doesn't know to be concerned about it.
Big brother problems. And I think Melvin is still with you, and he's kind of calmed down a little bit, chilled out, but he's still talking a fair amount, discussing with you the pros and cons of certain weaponsmiths and armors and such.
I think Barrack has gotten slightly tired of the banter and has resorted to half of his responses being some form of grunt. Maybe.
Perfect. Alright, so Delilah, you go first in the intrigue, I think. Unless Susie has any magical tricks she's gonna pull.
No.
Alright. And at this point, if there's anything you want out of Allegra, this is kind of your chance to push an agenda. She's got all her attention on you. And she is likely to be around the castle for at least a few days while this whole siege thing is happening.
I think Delilah, when she makes that offer and she's like, I'm sorry, unfortunately my constitution will not allow me to travel the northern airs. It's not good for me. But I have heard your ladyship of... I'm quite surprised about the guests that you choose to bring. Is that normal for you to have such an alliance?
No, not usually. And I'd barely even spoken to a Dornishman since I arrived at the capital. However, there was an attack on my household, my maiden house, and Sir Will and his cousin were instrumental in ensuring that I and my daughter did not die. So I owe them a great debt. Passage back home is the absolute least I could do.
I'm sorry to hear of such travails for your maiden house. I'm glad that you were able to find assistance, even such assistance as they could provide for you.
Yes, there are terrible games at play in this kingdom, Delilah.
Games, my lady?
Oh, come now, don't act so innocent. You know as well as I do that houses have histories.
Yes, there are unfortunate histories that have come up. It's, again, why I was quite surprised by your guest.
Yes, I did understand that it was quite the risk bringing Sir Will here. But I was assured that any and all grievances were to be left in the past, and as guests that we would be treated safely, as is the famous Baratheon hospitality.
Of course, my lady, there would be no reason why you should ever fear for your safety. You are guests in our house, and under guest rights, of course.
Of course.
All right. Let's have your first rolls, as I think that's enough to get your first kind of jabs or concerns voiced. So you will roll first, Deirdre. If you have a look at the cheat sheet, there's a list of... Let me scroll up. I'm on the wrong page. Make sure I get the wording right. There's a list of kind of techniques, which is actually the role play that you just did, and then the action, and this is kind of the actual, attack, if you like, of the intrigue. It's important, however, before you decide to do that you set your disposition towards Allegra. This is going to give you some soak to whatever she tries to do to you, essentially, depending on where you fall.
I think that at the moment her disposition is merely... It's not quite friendly. I think the best qualification would be indifferent about her. She may have been more friendly, but you brought a will to the house.
I think
so
that's
kind of
that's
made her
fair.
neutral.
Given her status, like a friendly would have been fair, but she's brought a literal blood enemy into your house knowingly. So yeah, indifferent I think is very reasonable. And Susie, you'll need to set yours as well. You don't have to declare it, but just make sure you've got a note of it. All right,
I got
Deirdre,
it.
what action would you like to take?
I think this is a... I think that this is probably going to be... I think this is a charm.
Oh, okay.
She wants to try and... She doesn't dislike Allegra, but she wants to try and separate Allegra from the Wills.
All right,
This
so this will
point-
be a persuasion charm test. Although if you're being deceptive in any way with your charm, you're kind of lying to be more charming, then you need to roll with deception instead. And I will say right now, massive thank you to everyone who has been donating during the stream. I have seen them come in. We've had a boon for Danella from Apocalypse. We've just had one truth for Beric. We'll discuss that in a little bit. We've had a crit from Celeste for Anna. And thank you all so much. I promise I'm looking at Steam Labs, I'm seeing them come in and I'm updating. There's a lot going on and I love it. So thank you all so much. And thank you for those retweets. We are creeping on up to that 30 retweet goal.
I think at this point she is actively charming. She's not trying to be deceptive in her lying. Right now she's just actively charming. So
Perfect.
it's an 18.
Oof.
That's 2 degrees of success.
Very nice. So with charm, the damage is
It's
something.
persuasion rank,
Persuasion.
and it'll be
rank.
times 2.
Persuasion rank times 2
Mm-hmm.
is a 10.
Oh, okay. All right. I see I see her. All right. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Guess
And
what?
so it begins.
So it begins. Allegra is hitting back with a charm of her own. As hello, young eligible bachelorette. This should be a terrible match in meta. Allegra doesn't know. Okay.
You also have 2 test dice on your screen, Susie. Just
Oh, do I? Let's just use one. Let's go for it.
All right.
Let's just make this as nasty as possible. That is going to be. Hang on. Do I have any ones? I do not. God
Maths.
damn. All right, that's a 22.
Okay.
20.
So that is 2 degrees of success.
Okay, that would be a
Right?
10 back at you.
It's plus 5.
Yeah, so
so the
what's
first
your
one is your
intrigue
hit.
defense?
It's 11.
11.
All right, so 11, 16, 21 is 3 degrees
It's 3.
of success. You include
Yeah,
the
3,
first
sorry,
hit,
I did the
and then
math.
it's every 5.
Yeah.
But
So,
also,
3
she
degrees.
rolled exactly double your intrigue defense, which means she gets a crit off if she has any 6s in her roll.
I got 1 6.
One
So,
6. So in addition
It's gonna
to the
be-
10, so the 15.
yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
15 damage. You ignore 2
Okay.
of the soak from your disposition rating. So indifferent, it's 3. So your soak is only 1. So you take 14 intrigue damage.
Okay. So where does that go?
So that's your composition.
Oh,
Oh, composure, sorry.
Composure.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that ruins her composure.
Okay, so to stay in, what you can always do is take frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially this will soak, for 1 point of frustration, it soaks the amount equal to your will rank, right? I'm not making that up. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I never take frustration. I have too much composure.
Frustration. Gain a point of frustration to reduce your incoming influence equal to your will rank. However, each point of frustration that you take imposes a minus 1d to all persuasion tests for the duration of that intrigue. So you're at a dice penalty for staying in a bit
Okay.
longer.
And then yes, so that's what it is, and it's like that. There's no math on that would make sense for her unless your composure is just straight up math. Is just a flat rate, right?
Yes.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm learning this.
No,
And
this
it's
is
made
fine.
from. It's just based on. The thing does it
your
for me, so I don't have to
will
worry
rank
about it.
times 3. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you good. Yeah.
Will rank times 3. Okay, so it's like I don't have to worry about that. So in that case, there's no. She's not going to do that because it wouldn't do any advantage for her to try, and there's no math on that. That would make sense. Sorry, but she just kind of breaks her smile, and she's still very attractive, but now her eyes are much more glacier and not quite so innocent looking at you.
Lady Delilah, if you wouldn't mind me asking, where is your Lord Father?
I believe
He's right
coming down
behind
from
you.
his- Hello, Papa. Allow me to provide some introductions. Lord Darren Baratheon, this is Lady Allegra Dorsey, and her charming daughter, Lady Danella Dorsey.
Yes, Lady Danella, I've come bearing gifts. I knew your mother. Erica was quite a close friend of Guinevere. Knowing that you were coming, I went through a few of Guinevere's things. I want you to have their correspondence.
I didn't know this was coming!
I know how important it is to have something of someone who's passed. And I want you to have this.
Danella's eyes go huge, like these huge doe eyes, just wider and wider as she looks to what you hold in your hands. And there's a moment of fear, like she's seen a ghost in a way, and then there's that moment of reverence. Something in your hands is so precious, she almost doesn't believe in it, but she, is that, and she's just staring now at this thing in your hands. And it's a fierce intensity. She's just the thing.
It's a well-kept black lacquer box with the Baratheon heraldry, and it contains all the letters. And he just gently hands it over to her.
And nimble fingers take the box and cradles it against her. And she's still staring at it in her hands, and then when she can finally drag her eyes away, she looks up at you and gives her a nod of thanks.
What a wonderfully kind
dearly.
gift.
Kindness is a rarity, an unfortunate fact of these times, and when one can find it, one should claim it.
I agree.
Speaking of which, I'm glad to see that both of you are well. Word has reached Storm's End of that unfortunate event at Famine's home. Terrible business.
Awful, and the
You had,
perpetrators have
indulged.
yet to face justice.
If you need aid when it comes to that, I am famous for a reason when it comes to justice.
Well, I've heard the stories. I think everyone has.
So, when the guilty is found, if you need aid, House Baratheon will be there to help you.
I'm heartened to hear that, my lord. I'm very appreciative.
Honor is something that we hold dear in this hall.
Absolutely.
Anyway, enough grim business. It is good to see both of you. And it's good to see that you, well, Delilah, I'm guessing that everybody's talking their ears off to one another. Don't let me get too much in the way. But, again, a pleasure, as always, to meet the famous lady of House Dorsey. He just reaches over, grabs the hand, kisses the top of the palm. You must pardon an old stag his habits. Of course, I'm not the schmoozer that Baelor is.
Allegra's heart eyes pop up for just a fraction of a second before she says, "Not many men are, my lord. I wouldn't compare yourself to such a prince. It's hardly fair on you or him, honestly. But, and pardon me for wanting to get down to brass tacks straight away, but I had hoped to have a conversation with you at some point during our stay here."
By all means, now that I have made certain that Something good came of this day. Looking at Danella with, like, almost tears in his eyes. You can find me in my study, by all means,
Excellent.
Lady Allegra.
I shall call on you later.
Indeed. Take care, my darling. Just gives Delilah a kiss on the top of the head, even though his short stature would normally not allow much of this with the rest of his family. And then just turns about, walks off. But gives a brief moment to lock eyes with Danella and just gives, like, a fatherly nod. And heads off.
Danella has been slowly creeping backwards with this box in her hands, and she catches your eye and she gives a hurried nod and then is going straight to the bench. She wants to look through this box and she can't hide it. It's a squirrel that's just been handed a box of nuts and she is going to go through it all. And she doesn't care where she is or who sees her or anything else. And with the Bane that the Chaos Chorus have just unlocked, there is a outburst from the war room, and Jocelyn, Niklaus, and 3 other lords are ejected. It's all but thrown out. It's nothing you can really fight against. You can probably get in a good punch or a jab if you'd like, but you are ejected from this war room, and that door slams behind you. Thanks for the bane, fam.
Was help. Nick just looks at this door in shock. He just like, I just helped y'all. Okay, you know what? Does the old fuck. And he starts to walk off, like, kind of upset because he felt like he did a bad job of what he's supposed to do. So he just goes, fuck, and leaves a little bit.
Don't prefer to hit below the belt indoors, but in this case, I think it was warranted. I am not sorry.
Really?
I think
Nat, you've been watching first your sister in the scene, and now I imagine they're not far from you. I think you and Melvin kind of camped out near the war room. So Niklaus and Jocelyn ejected right beside you.
I was actually planning on having my wide shadow falling over my dear father as he retreats to his study.
You extricate yourself before you can get dragged into the mess.
Yes. Dad?
Yes, my son.
He kind of makes just the almost imperceptible motion back to the, I imagine, kind of side passage where Delilah and Allegra and the gift were. And says, "Is this a game?"
No. I did something that your mother would have wanted me to. One less thing to do right by her. The game is your sister tangling with that woman.
Who is she?
Just how did the Lord Rosby put it? The wench of Westeros? She gets what she wants by betting who she wants. There's an understanding between her and her husband. She uses her beauty as a weapon. She is not someone to underestimate. But I would avoid her at all costs. Her words are the same words that turned Daemon black.
If we let her, if we keep our space from her, then we let her wreak havoc in our home.
No.
Who's to stand vanguard? Delilah against that?
No, Delilah is not going to stand vanguard. Delilah is going to be Delilah. And that bit of kindness, that gift that Mother left behind, is going to do much more good than any word or deed I could come up with. Your mother's guarding this house just as she always did, even in death.
See,
As high as honor.
you say there's no game in what you play, but you just don't see it that way. But there is.
Games are for lesser men. Lesser men who need greater men to do their work. We don't need to play games.
No. But if there's something I've learned, you fight a sword with a sword, you beat armor with more armor, you send fire to bed fire.
No. It's a lesson that you have yet to learn, my son. You cannot just beat with raw strength,
I have no intention
as
to.
much as you have. But no. As much as I've been keeping it from you, I might as well just come out and say it. Lady Dorsey is tied to the Tremaines and the Lord Astor. That is her maiden house, which has fallen on hard times. I doubt it was their own making. Their mediocrity just stinks up all of the Crownlands. But someone targeted their house. I'm guessing it was the Lord Valerian that they were after. Bitter steel, no less. But word has it that instead of the food going bad because of poor management, as much as everyone at court is just hawking and hammering that home, it was more than likely poison. But the Lord Astor lives. His sister Tarla has gone missing. No doubt Darren is probably upset. Seeing this as possibly a play at someone finally getting those two bickering souls to finally quiet down. But no, there's probably going to be a war in Darren's backyard as there's bigger fish to fry. Well, no doubt Bittersteel's at play. But our job, given to us by Crown, Honor, and the gods, is to try and keep things as peaceable as possible. Those lords are going to pitch fits in the war room, and they're going to continue doing it until I decide to stride in there and set them straight. But I don't have the time or patience for their petty squabbles until tomorrow. Let them get all the wine and piss out of them, and then I'll make them see reason. Speaking of wine and piss, where is your cousin?
And let us use that as a segue to cut back to Jocelyn and Nicholas, as everyone is dragged by Lord Baratheon in a beautiful manner. Thank you so much. But no matter what your next roll is, bonus dice from the GM. Take 2.
I'm just stunned.
Jocelyn is inexplicably feeling a little bit more hot under the collar. She doesn't know why. She just is.
We helped, and then all of a sudden they just kicked us out. And Nick is just like rumbling, but like quietly. And he just like, I need a drink. And he turns to Jocelyn and be like, I have never seen grown men No, I did it back. I have seen grown men cut the fool like this. I have never seen them act so childish before in my life.
Give it time. Usually the childishness is some level of bullshit that I can deal with. It's just... And you just get the impression that it's the, like, you don't challenge my competence kind of glare, instead of I feel personally insulted by the jabs kind of glare. Probably a little bit over hasty, but hopefully a message that they will not soon forget. So you and I need to talk about something. That box that Lady Allegra had you carrying around.
I supposed to give it to Lord Baratheon, milady.
Interesting. Aren't you a little curious what is so valuable that it goes to the Lord, but that the Lady Allegra would trust to a messenger? I wonder.
Look, it's a job, all right? Lord Aetherius told me to come here. I just do what I gotta do.
Would I have known where this was put down somewhere?
Yeah, where would have?
Well,
I'm assuming you weren't carrying it in the war room.
I mean, okay, so you have a choice, Brittany. You could still be carrying the box, looking after it, because no one has told you exactly what to do with it, or we could say there's kind of one of those gift tables where it could have been placed. I imagine Delilah is very organized and would have a gift table ready for a later presentation moment.
He would put it on the gift table because he is just like, I'm here supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to do, and then she gave me this box. I have no idea. I'll put it at this gift table to see, just to leave it there. He yeah, it's at the gift table. I don't look at people's stuff. If it's for somebody, I don't touch it.
Oh, of course not. I would expect nothing less. Jocelyn would like to just languidly walk over to the gift table, casually pick up a couple of knickknacks, twirl them around, inspect them before turning her attentions towards that box.
Alright, and Nick, Jocelyn leaves you apparently to go and take a look at the table, but it's very casual. It's, okay, thanks for the conversation, I'm going away now. What would Nick like to do? Niklaus, sorry.
Niklaus would like to find a drink because he'd been kicked out of the throne room because he felt like he did a bad job. And then maybe he'll kind of go find a place to be by himself for a little bit and just stare out at one of the windows. And he does that, and he seizes rain. He does not like rain. He just mumbles, why is it always raining here? That's it. He does not like rain.
And as you stare out the window, you can just make out those shadowy forms of the ships. And they're rocking, and they're tossing and turning. And you see one of their sails drops out, and it billows like a white sheet. It's large canvas dropping down and catching the wind as the rain is nearly horizontal. It's blowing in to and at the window. And Jocelyn, you rifle through the knickknacks at the table. There are, nice trinkets. There's an elegant scabbard. There's a ring with antlers enameled upon it. It's a little obvious, but someone's made an effort at least to melt down some gold and make this ring. And you come to the box, and I'm trying to think what I can compare it to. You would guess it's large enough to house maybe a helmet, something of that kind of size. And it's a wooden box. And you can see just a tiny bit of straw kind of poking out of the join. And as you lift it, there's a moderate amount of weight to it. It's not super heavy like a paperweight, or it's not something truly solid inside, but there's a little bit of weight to it. And Beric, you see Jocelyn at this gift table, rifling through, checking things out. You said you'd like to see her, so I'm sending you to her. So you know, before I hand over Nat, you did get donated 1 truth, and I didn't explain what this means. This means you can add a truth to the world as I disappear out of focus. This can be anything you like. It can affect another character, it can be about your character, it can be to do with the scene, or it could be something wider. You have the power. It's a moment of GM, and then whatever you say, I add to it. You can do this now, or you can do it at the end of the game if you would like. And you get to set a wheel in motion. And Apocalypse has also donated for Pope to have one of these, so we will get 2 truths by the end of this session. Thank you so much, friend.
Pope's one is the one I'm excited for.
It was right behind us all along. Without looking up from the box, as Beric is coming over, Jocelyn's like, "Hello, cousin."
Poking around. Find something interesting.
I don't know. Is it locked, by the way, the box?
It's not
Or
locked,
is it
but
just
it's
closed?
nailed shut.
Barrick's going to take just wide, slow steps, doing a little half circle like a big, slow shark.
Seven Golden Stags says you can't guess what's inside this before I open it.
Oh, come now. I'm done underestimating people today. Shall we see what's in there together? He reaches out a hand.
Yep. She'll just take out a... Oh, silver stags. Just kidding. Gold is on the brain. And just take like a little dagger and pry the lid off the top of it.
Alright, I need you to make a strength check to use this dagger to pry this box open.
Alright, let's use one of those bonus dice.
Alright, I should mention, of course, Matt donated big crits, so you all have another round of dice up on screen. Thank you so much, Matt. By the way, anything the cast don't use today, I'm going to throw over to the main cast, so nothing will go to waste, and it is all appreciated.
Where is strength under? Athletics?
Yes.
No. Yes. Alright.
Sorry,
cool.
that's my bad. Yes, athletic strength.
No, that's fine. I figured. 7.
Right, you get the tip under the edge and you kind of wiggle it, but you can feel the metal of the dagger kind of slightly bending as you can't get a good enough angle to get proper leverage.
Just hold out my hand again.
Fine. She gives him the box.
I'm sorry, Anna, you rolled
So-
a 7.
I know.
Alright, so I have a 3 in strength. So I click strength, then hit 3. Then what do I do with that? So I have
So
3
you
at
click
3 12
athletics.
athletics and 3 strength.
Okay, so click athletics, and then when it comes up with the bonus dice, put in 3 for your 3 strength. And it will roll it all for you. 14. Very nice. On a 14, you kind of begin where she started, but you pull that dagger out, and the meaty hand comes down, and you pry, and you see those sharp nails just jutting out of this box where you've lifted the wood from the top, and there's a layer of straw and fabric. Whatever's in here has been wrapped to stay dry. They knew this was coming to see. Yes, Anna, you loosened it for him.
Oh my god. What did I do? What did I do?
Hold it so that Jocelyn can see alongside, and just pick to pull the folds of the fabric away to try to view what's inside.
And inside, there is. Look at everyone's little faces. Just the leaning is happening. The squinting.
What did I
Right.
What did I do?
Inside is a human skull. And at its temple, a large black stone has been placed.
Oh no.
And the actual bone of it has been carved, and you see as you turn it and reveal more of it, Storm's End being battered by waves, and leaping from those waves a stag which runs around to the front, the trees, and then the heart again. You catch the torchlight just in that black stone in the center. But as you look back in the box, Jocelyn and Beric, you notice that fabric. It is not the colors of House Dorsey. This box did not come from them.
Oh.
Susie.
Oh, really?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Whose
Oh,
house
this so
colors
bad.
have we got there? Hmm?
The colors in the box are green and gold, but there is no house emblem to tell you which green and gold combination this came from. And none automatically occur to you. Like, there's no obvious, oh yeah, I was expecting a skull from them.
Okay.
Yeah, even Jocelyn does not expect to get skulls in the mail. This black
Would one be able
stone,
to-
that's... Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just a rules question.
At the
Would you
center
be able
of
to
it.
use status to try to identify a house?
Oh, that's a good point,
This
too,
would be
yeah.
cunning memory or knowledge heraldry.
Cunning
Just-
And I can give you some
might be a mini
suggestions
roll.
on green and gold. But again, there's no,
Yes,
like, emblem to help you out. It's just the fabric is colored in greens and golds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Alright, so what do we get?
I'm gonna use a bonus die for that. Memory.
Okay.
Good lord! Jocelyn is having an off day today, y'all.
Yeah,
That was an 8.
I think we found the new Nuno.
Oh no.
Well, it's
You
been
are
real
in
nice
Nuno's
playing with
seat,
you
I
all.
think.
I'll see you on Thursday for Star Trek.
You are kind of in Nuno's seat. That is usually where Nuno's frame is, I think. Alright, so we got an 8 from Jocelyn and Beric. Did you roll anything to check? Or are you just gonna...
I have some cunning.
Okay.
10.
10. Better. Alright, Jocelyn, green and gold. You think to the 20s. Those are the Oakhart colours. You saw a lot of those when you were at Mara Oakhart's wedding. Green and gold is
Yes.
also Mara Oakhart's family's house, although there's usually white for green ones as well. Green and gold could maybe be Tyrell's.
Yep.
What
They
did I
usually
just
put
do?
roses on shit. That's usually your giveaway for them. And you begin to run through other heraldry, other knights that you've seen. It could be any number of people in your mind. Green and gold doesn't particularly narrow it down beyond it not being House Dorsey, whose colours are maroon and silver. It's not Bywater colours either. They're blue and silver. Tremaine colours are yellow and red, yellow and black. Sorry. And Beric, It's a similar thing for you. You are thinking about the battlefields and other places and family lineages. Yes, Nat.
I have a question. So they said there was a stag carved into it, and Nat definitely doesn't know if there's meaning there, but might Beric call meaning from that imagery?
So the stag is the emblem for the Baratheon household. This skull
Okay,
has
so
been
that's
specifically
us.
made for your house. Yes.
Got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's us.
But what I will give you as you run through is, again, you just get a list of houses, green and gold, green and gold. But the black stone catches both of your attentions. Jocelyn, you're still going, why would the oak heart send me the skull? By me, I mean him. You know, trying to kind of oodle it that way. But Beric, you're looking at this black stone, and black stones generally are not commonly found in Westeros. It's not a super common gemstone. A lot of the black stones come from Essos.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Beric's
Oh,
going
no.
to take a step back, survey the room, catch Delilah's eye, and give her that good, like, shit's happening, here now, kind of nonverbal.
Lila was already on her review because she had the commotion of seeing her cousin kicked out of the war room. And then watching the two of you go to boxes and was like, oh, no, don't touch, but don't. Oh, fine. And literally, like, you turn around to look at her and she's walking towards you and she's just smiling. What did you break?
Well,
Oh no.
that remains to be seen. First, we need to find out whether this is a promise or a threat.
Oh no.
You sent it. And is it? And she has this moment of, are you holding it in your hand? Or just the box?
Yeah, I think Beric was.
Beric doesn't want to touch it particularly yet. She's holding the box and you have like his hand lightly over it, but as you approach, he'll like reveal.
As she walks up, she goes, "Is it like father's? Is it like father's gifts?"
Distinctly different.
Oh, I'm about to go to hell. Oh no.
And she's going to look at both the very interestingly and artistically carved skull, and then the colors that are within it, and attempt to see if she can figure out who this would be.
Sure, make a cunning memory test. Nicholas, as you look over, you see more and more Baratheons gathering around Jocelyn at the gift table.
Uh-huh. I just walk over and I'm like, what the heck? I said, what the hell?
I'm going to, if it's okay, just like reach out and kind of turn Nicholas around and be like, now remember, you're just delivering this box to the Lord Baratheon. You would never look inside it. You said so yourself. Let's go and get that wine you were after. And then
Yeah.
we can just walk off, and I'll look over my shoulder at Beric with a, like, we're going to talk about this later kind of thing. As I'm just like, Nicholas, I don't want you to get mixed up in this. Let's just stop that before it starts.
Okay.
So you say the dice are test dice, not bonus dice?
Correct.
So add to the rank.
Yes.
So fastest ways, I'm just going to change the rank for right now and then change it back.
Yep. That's what I normally do.
So 16.
Ooh, very good. You take an interest in that fabric much as your cousins had, or your cousin and your brother, I should say. And what catches your attention is not the colors so much as the fabric. This is a silk. It's not a woven wool or a cotton, it's a silk. And there are several places famous for silk in Westeros, or I should say in Planetos. Thanks, George. But in Westeros, it's the Dawns who favor silks. And running through houses in Dawn that have green and gold coloring, you can think of only one, and that is House Jourdain. Although it doesn't mean there are not more. That is just the only one that comes to your mind. It's the only one of the more major houses. They are related to the Danes. Diana Dane is wife of Maekar, who is one of the sons of the king. So they are kind of cousins in the same way Velaryon is a cousin to a Targaryen.
Well, Beric, apparently our Dornish friends like sending gifts.
Gift is a very charitable word for this.
I didn't know that House Jourdain was coming for this event.
Susie's face. Nor did Susie. So, the thing about the Dornish right now is there is a lot of tension in Westeros. There have been Reacher attacks on the Dawns. The Dawns have attacked back. There's been countless raids going on that you would have heard rumors of. The Wills themselves have had a lot of problems with unrest just south of you. And it's that feeling in the air. War is not only coming to Tyrosh, war is coming to Dawn. And when it comes to Dawn, it's going to begin creeping north, and you are right in its path. But why would they send a human skull so elegantly carved, wrapped in silk, with a stone? Even your cunning brain cannot give you an answer right now as to that.
Can my cunning brain just do a quick head count of important people in the family and make sure that we haven't, sent anyone south in the last little while? Because
I don't recognize this face on this skull, do I?
Exactly.
I recognize that dent.
Cousin Tommen's chipped tooth. Oh no!
Dental records, obviously.
Tommen!
She very firmly recalls her father's dealings with certain houses and sending gifts back to them of similar sorts when he was displeased, or in this case, they attempted to murder his daughter and sent them back as a heart to the household. So she's just kind of doing a quick run through, important family members, see, anyone.
Nat, would you like to introduce a truth regarding this? You don't have to. Just asking, I'm offering you an opportunity.
I feel like it's a good moment to, but I feel woefully unequipped to do so elegantly.
That's okay.
Inelegant truths are just as good as the elegant ones.
Pope, you're being very poetic today, and I respect that.
We can help you make the truth if you'd like. You don't have to. Don't feel pressured. It's just I'm offering you a point where you could introduce one if you'd like.
I think I'm good for right meow. Seems like you've got something in the pot cooking.
Delilah. As far as you're aware, the majority of your house have been very busy being House Baratheon, doing its duty, helping out the lords when they come to call. Prince Baelor came south not so long ago and came by on his way to Highgarden. But you don't remember sending anyone into Dawn. You don't remember your father telling you anyone had gone into Dawn. So you have no suggestions in your mind as to who this might be. But that doesn't mean one of your men hasn't wandered south at some point. But it's not, oh, Bonnie Prince Cousin Charlie, or whatever. I can't words. I'm excited. I'm in the middle of some juicy fruits, and it's an exciting place to be here in the lemon cart, so to speak. The lemon stand. Did you know stands in JoJo aren't what I thought they were? So, You look at the skull and you cannot immediately place whomst it might be. It doesn't appear to be a particularly new skull. It's not shining white, freshly polished, but it is very nicely carved. And the Jordanes are the only people you could place with that silk green and gold fabric.
Perhaps I shall take this very strong, nice gift and let Father know that things are going on, and you should make sure that Jocelyn doesn't get kicked out of any more rooms.
Beric seems like he's trying to keep himself composed. Of course. Of course. And you see, didn't notice it before, but his hand comes off his sword. The ceremonial one, not the real one, the fancy one.
And she just kind of reaches out and puts her hand on top of yours for a moment and be like, it's all fine, brother.
I don't know what you're used to insofar as things being fine, but this feels like a threat. And in my world, threats don't go unanswered or unfulfilled.
That's what I mean. I have firm belief that you and Father will deal with this gift in the appropriate manner.
Beric, I thought we were going to fight. Melvin's voice booms.
He turns and will bellow back across. I'm a little busy right now.
Then it shall not be this day.
He's Beric taking a moment, and he starts trudging across, getting slightly quieter as he goes, but calling him out a little bit. You have the absolute worst sense of timing. I work and I fight, and I labor to try to get a sword duel between us for any purpose. And now, on this day, where I am unavailable, is when you come calling me out in my... And I imagine he's right up next to this point. In my home.
It was your proposition, was it not?
Sit down. Shut up.
Alright, roll me a Persuasion Intimidation. As you
Sure.
throw the clout of this being your house, and you are bigger than this guy, and he's the one that's wimped out every time you try to have a fight.
Yeah. It's if it doesn't work, I'll just, screw it. I'll do it. That's a 12.
That's the spirit. 12. You lock eyes with him, and you see his cheeks are rosy red. Not today, then. And he's quieter and just, I'm not backing down, you're backing down, as he sinks back to the bench.
Beric really wants to just clock this guy, but he's going to think of Delilah and think of the situation and relax his hand and go find Jocelyn like his sister asked him to.
At this
Just
point,
like,
how close are
where are
we
you?
getting to when we would have the start of the feast?
I think meal has kind of begun to be served already. There's kind of some
Okay.
food bowls out. There's bread. It's kind of one of those, it wasn't an official welcome to the feast moment. It's, these people start
Right.
being hungry, let's start getting them fed.
Jocelyn has gone back to her room to get changed because she has been wearing the seafaring clothes this entire time and is looking to make an impression of a different sort when we go into this feast. So she's changing into a very long, high-necked sort of black dress that's got various like Baratheon motifs, but kind of stitched to look like there are stags coming out of ocean waves in different sort of shimmery colors. A little bit of gold here and there, but it's the black and gold, but emphasis on the shimmer. So just getting ready to just do that, and every so often just kind of itch just a wee little bit, but otherwise makes like no effort to like cover up the cut or anything like that.
Marcia in my head is screaming, but this is fine.
Yeah, I know.
And Jocelyn has changed. Niklaus, is there anything you would like to do as everyone's attention has kind of moved away from you? They all seem to have found their own things to get on with. And mostly people actually seem to be avoiding you. There seems to be a wariness. They kind of eye you with a suspicion or a fear.
He kind of looks at them trying to, because I guess he's so used to it because he's from the river and he thinks, oh, maybe because of his eyes or his hair. So he kind of ignores them and goes to like his room to change into something nice for the feast, which is like a nice like muted gold, muted red and green, nice souble trousers, and on like his breast is the symbol of House Rosenberg, which is just a red rose, and he gets changed into that, and he just kind of walks out to the feast hall, and he's like I'm just gonna get something to eat. And he keeps looking at these people that's looking at him kind of like something wrong with him. And he just finally just says something like, is it my eyes or my hair? Which one is it? To like anyone that's like kind of looking at him.
And I'm gonna say there's like 3 of them that are kind of like mates club. And they're kind of jostling each other, and one of them decides that's the one with the gumption to answer, and it says, "None, sir. More your employer."
What about my employer? And you see him like starts to get a little, stands up a little bit. Like, what about my employer?
They say he's a spy. And the guy stands up.
He kind of like shakes his head like, I don't, because he doesn't believe in rumors. Like, I don't believe in that. My employer ain't a spy.
What did your employer send you here for then?
To check out some things, to make sure no one gets hurt, and if someone does, I'm grabbing somebody and we're getting out of here.
You expect to fight, sir?
No.
2 more guys stand up. They can see the posturing and they're like, I don't know what this fight's about, but alright.
He sees him sitting up, and he ain't the phone, so he just gonna relax a little bit, like, no fight. I'm just here to have a good time. I came here and do what I have to do. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's how it's gonna be. And he grabs his plate and goes find somewhere to sit, because he's like, I feel something wrong. I'm here to do my job. Goes, just sit and eat.
And you hear a mutter under the main speaker's breath, "Bitter steel bastard," and spits on the ground.
He
essentially just accused you of being the bastard of the sworn enemy of the state, in addition to being a spy.
Oh, okay, Charlie. Okay. He hears that, and he turns around, and in his blue and purple eyes, you see, like, just anger, but his face is calm, but in his eyes is just anger. And he straight up walks up to him, right up in his face, It says, if you ever call me a bitter steel bastard one more time, you will be leaving this place, which I don't think Lord Baratheon would like, in pieces. And he goes back. Just go do what he was supposed to do. Just go get some food. That's it.
Brittany,
'cause
I'd like you
he,
to roll Persuasion, Intimidation to shut this guy up. You have
Okay.
an additional test dice that you can use if you would like to. We are coming to near the end of the game, so start burning these dice.
You know what? Why not? I'm gonna burn it. So you want me to roll what now?
So this is your
fun.
Persuasion,
Okay.
but add another rank to it, essentially. So if you are a 3, you're now a 4. And then if you have any
Okay.
bonus dice in Intimidation, add those as a bonus dice.
Okay. Intimidate. Let's see if he can intimidate these people. Don't have no bonus say so. Let's see. Oh, a 20. Ooh. Yeah. Don't fuck with Nicholas Rivers. That's all I have to say.
As Niklaus moves away, anyone watching this scene sees the guy just sit the fuck back down. And just doesn't say a word. His friend maybe makes a comment to him and he just kind of like pushes him away, like, shut up, don't talk to me right now. Little bit of pee comes out. Alright, so let's go around. We're going to do last scenes for everyone. So if you have an intrigue in mind, we're going to make it a simple intrigue for today, just so we can make sure we get to your points. Allegra was going to meet Lord Darren.
Mm-hmm.
What would Jocelyn, Barrack, Delilah like to do? Do you have any scenes in mind? Anyone you would particularly like to talk to?
I have an idea. Something quick with Jocelyn, I think.
Okay.
Didn't quite get to because of the gift.
The gift. The mighty gift. Alright, so Barrack wants a scene with Jocelyn. Delilah, who would you like a scene with? Or you could have a solo scene, that is also an option.
I think Delilah's taking the box to her father's study.
Okay, Delilah's on her way. Jocelyn, are you hitting up Lady Dorsey? Alright, cool. Niklaus, what would you like your last scene to be? We will get all of these done, I'm determined.
My last scene would probably be with Jocelyn, just for a little bit. He's just gonna have one last scene with Jocelyn, and then he's just gonna go back to Bravos.
Alright, so this will be the order of play. We are going to do Allegra and Lord Darren in his study. While that is happening, Nicholas and Jocelyn are going to have a conversation. And then Barrack and Jocelyn will have a conversation. And Delilah will then go and speak to her father. And Jocelyn and Allegra can have a conversation. Okay? So we're kind of hopping around a little bit, but everyone is going to get their turns. Alright, so Allegra, you've extricated yourself from the niceties of dealing with people in the feast hall. Danella is busy with her box of letters, alongside Bastion Will, once more at that table. And you find your way into the study.
I think Allegra knocks politely before she just lets herself in. There's like half a second's wait before she opens the door anyway.
You find Darren standing next to the table with the tafel set. Lady Dorsey, please come in.
Lord Darren. Thank you. And she shuts the door behind herself and she doesn't take a seat as she enters the room. Listen, Lord Darren, we can dance around with niceties all evening. We both quite well practiced at speaking in a courtly manner, but let's be honest with one another. I know your reputation, you know mine. But I come to you with an offer.
All right.
As far as I understand it, your son is unmarried and has little in the way of prospects. Otherwise, he would have been married by now, surely.
Oh, he has plenty of prospects. For the sake of
Really?
those women, I am keeping him off the market.
Oh, really?
His blood is too hot, and you know precisely why. Until the
Do I
Lord
know why?
Aster... Yes. Until the Lord Aster is dealt with, one way or another, my son shall not marry.
What do you
It
mean the Lord
consumes his
Aster
thought.
dealt with?
I mean dealt with. Either they have a duel, he dies of some unfortunate cause, or he gets himself in some sort of hot bother. I am fairly certain he's on his way to King's Landing and is probably going to either be tried, hung, or drawn and quartered. Dealt
My lord,
with.
I do not understand this hatred for my younger brother. I know not
He
of any
killed my
history.
son! I was responsible for my brother's death. And my wife. While I can, as an old man, forgive the fires of war, my son cannot. And I can reason with many. I can reason with Delilah. I can reason with Jocelyn. I can reason with my remaining brothers and sisters. I can reason with Lord Baelor and King Darren. I cannot reason with Beric. And part of me doesn't want to even try, but I still do. And so no, if your offer is for some fine young thing to marry my son, I'm going to tell you like the rest. I'm going to tell you like I told Maekar. No.
No, it wasn't for some fine young thing. It was for my daughter, Danella.
No. That delightful, kind woman deserves someone who will actually love and care for her. My son does not have either of those qualities.
That's truly unfortunate to hear. Truly. Now, I thought we could do each other a favor here, for as far as I make it, you and your family are not in great standing with the crown.
Oh, Darren, yes. But the rest of the family, we've proved our mettle. In fact,
Oh,
Baelor
really?
and I are
So
quite
that's-
close.
So that's not your daughter running around the Red Mountains with a traitor?
Daira, probably my greatest regret. My greatest mistake.
Funny how they always come back to hurt us, isn't it?
Hurt us they should, because one should be careful. The gods are just, they are not kind.
Alright, before you say anything else, you each are going to get one more statement, and then you may choose to roll or withdraw from the conversation. Alright, nice and simple. Pope, since this is your house, I'm going to say you get to make your last statement first.
Lady Dorsey, you are not one to do favors. I am. As lord of this house and this hold, you are my guest. And for as much as I personally dislike your company and your brother, I know how you campaigned in quiet during the war, and I have a great love and fondness for your husband. As much as I had a great love and fondness for Erica. And so I am willing to overlook the slights, the childish plays, and do something of kindness for you and your house. Not the maiden house, but House Dorsey. I give you my word.
I have a counter offer for you, my lord. As it has been stressed many times to me quite recently, I am not a Tremaine. I am a Dorsey. And if, once Lord Astor is dealt with, the young Lord Beric finds his temperament more even, I ask only that you consider Danella, and hope that love and friendship can once again bloom between our houses, separate as they have been.
Let's roll.
Let's see those rolls.
Sorry, Nino!
I'm using all 3 dice.
Okay.
I'm famous. Fame is an interesting thing in this system, especially when you have to have status 7 as being a lord. All of those bonus dice that you have in charm and seduction, you get to make those keep dice up to your status level. Let's see what 13 dice do.
Fuck.
What's the Shadowrun?
Apparently so. Susie, you got 2 dice on your screen.
Yeah,
Oh, also I
I'm
had
gonna
some
use them.
bonus dice. Yeah, I had 2 other bonus dice. So let's roll 15, keep 13.
This is disgusting, Pope. You're gonna go to jail for this.
You had 3 just
Wait.
before you just decided to roll this.
Game of Thrones jail.
$29. Fuck
48.
me! Holy shit!
Alright, the way I will rule this, Allegra, is not to push the Beric issue and to take the Baratheon at his word that he is going to do you a very good favor. Your disposition towards Lord Baratheon is going to improve, and it will stay there until he does something against that. For you, Lord Baratheon, you hear her proposal, and it's a genuine proposal for you to consider. It's an exceptional role for both of you. So Pope, we will be in touch down the line, I imagine, to revisit this. Huge rolls! Those are disgusting numbers. Get out of my office. Because I know that Nat needs to run away pretty soon, I'm going to rearrange slightly, and we're going to do Nat and Jocelyn, so Beric and Jocelyn now, and we'll do Nicholas and Jocelyn after.
Jocelyn.
Tom?
Cousin. There's something of import I want to deal with here. I don't want to mince words. That is the business of others. There's a snake in our house. I think you're the best equipped to deal with it.
Go on.
I'm sure you've had the displeasure of meeting one Lady Dorsey.
Briefly. Although I would not have called that encounter arduous by any means. Yes, we have met.
Well, I find it a little difficult to find joy in an encounter with anyone so close to point of red. Well, black, if you want to put it that way. Anyway, I'm not going to be languid about it. I want you to do this. You're going to do it. Otherwise people are going to know.
Know what?
Oh, Oh, you're playing this courtly game. I know that you tweet off for a little information down into a set of islands over to what might be a reason why you're a little familiar with the waters south. Or is it north? Nat doesn't know the direction. North. We don't suffer spies in this house. Well, father doesn't.
Same deal as Susie and Pope just had. A last statement each, and then you roll or you withdraw.
You go ahead.
Whether I claim those seas under the name of the Stormlands or with fire and blood makes no difference to me as long as they are mine.
And today, this is the cost of that. If you want to claim these seas or anywhere, you'll deal with her. And no one needs to know. By the way, I
Charlie,
used
you're
my
muted.
truth for this. I chatted with Anna.
Oh,
Yes.
so would you like to tell me the outcome of are you inciting her?
Oh, no, I just used it to get to make something to get leverage.
Okay,
Yep.
so you
Still
will
turning
need
down,
to
that's fine.
roll Persuasion Insight to convince Jocelyn to do your bidding against the Lady Dorsey.
Sure. Oh, I have some bonus dice, so I feel like I might as
You
well use
do.
them. Don't want to send them off
Got
to that
two keep dice to
cantankerous
throw.
crew.
It's true, wasted on the main cast.
So, my understanding is if those, I roll the normal thing, and then I add 2d6 after.
Okay, so what I would do is take your base, so if your Persuasion rank, and just bump it up 2. Just bump it up 2. So if you're at
Gotcha.
3, it goes to 5, etc., and then add any bonus dice you need for Insight after that.
Got it. Ooh, that's not a great roll.
And Anna, would you like to do anything in return with your agenda?
What exactly is Barrick wanting Jocelyn to do in order to deal with Allegra?
Well, I will say that he's being a little intentionally vague,
Uh-huh.
but when there is treachery to be done in this regard, poison is often a popular choice.
Barrick would like you to cut a bitch. Thank you.
Yeah, basically. Like he said to father, you cannot, you need to fight a weapon with its own kind.
He has got some serious leverage on her, though.
He does.
So, I guess I might try to. Can I roll deceit to just make it seem like I'll do whatever he says? I don't know what I should do here.
Roll Deception Bluff.
Okay, and I am
And you can
treacherous, so I add a
imply-
cunning
yes.
to deception results. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knew that would come in handy.
But,
Deception.
Anna, I will add this. Jocelyn is pretty much half convinced by Beric she's got to do this thing. He is going to land her in it. And she's a spy for Blackfire. Like, it's pretty much the worst person you could be.
Yep. All right.
As in, your father would probably gut you very publicly and hang you, and not your father, sorry, your uncle. Maybe your father too.
Yeah, he'd be holding the rope.
Pretty much everyone in this building.
Yep. Okay. And then it says I add my cunning
Your cunning rank.
rank. So that's a 19.
Okay. Beric. For all intents and purposes, you are convinced Jocelyn will do exactly as you have asked of her. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding. Either Lady Dorsey will disappear and die, or she won't. But it seems you have convinced her. And that is where we'll leave that moment. Thank you so much, friends. Deirdre. The Lady Delilah finds her father not too long after Lady Dorsey has left. And you have your moment.
Come in, good dear.
Papa,
Yes.
we seem to be given gifts lately that are very unique. And she kind of sets the box in the middle of the game table, purposely.
Reaches in, pulls everything out. He does not seem bothered by the skull. Stares, turns it around, admires it, and then looks at the cloth.
The Jordanes are very interesting gifts.
Let it be written that they don't go precisely with what they're first told. Easily played, as is most of Westeros. Dark heart. You keep one of your enemy's skulls on your mantle, and all of a sudden you start collecting them. Puts the cloth over. But them sending a gift, no less than the box that was catching Jocelyn's eye, means others is doing the Jordanes favors.
Beric
Okay.
opened it.
Of course it did. Jordanes sending me a cryptic message that they know I would get. I think it's time for Baratheon to go south to Dawn. It seems I need to pay Tor a visit. So, no, that's good to know. Thank you, my dear. I'm sorry about the Dorseys and the Wills. The wench of Westeros is playing her games again. But
Yes, she seemed to think that Beric would be available.
he will be once the Lord Astor is no longer a problem for my son. Whether that is
she also seemed to think.
unserved. Yes, dear?
She also seemed to think that I was available.
We have discussed this. You want what's best for you. I want what's best for you. Sure, there are plenty of overtures from minor lords who offer you nothing but their mewling sons. My daughter only deserves the best. Right now, there are very few honorable men in Westeros that I would trust, and that you should trust. Honestly, I am trying to twist Baelor's arm, but I don't know to what avail that would be. But should all else fails, as much as the North might be inhospitable to your health,
Being close
there are-
neighbours with Catherine would not be a problem.
No. She is very fond of you. So you would be taken care of well. So maybe taking a trip north is in order, but I'd wait until this business with Dawn is done.
Do you require accompaniment on your journey south, or?
No. We all know that you are the brightest in this house, and therefore someone to hold it in my stead. No doubt your brother will be baited out to some adventure or some misadventure by one of these lords. And I need a Baratheon with an even head sitting in my stead. This business takes delicate hands and my own personal attention.
Of course. Always here to help.
I promise you, once this ill business is over, we will deal with everything on your docket. Right now, I have your hot-headed brother to deal with.
Beric and Jocelyn seem to be getting along very well lately.
Yes, they seem to be playing at things that they think that I don't pay attention to. I'll get to the bottom of it eventually, but I'm fairly certain your brother is going to learn a nasty lesson, and once he does, he might actually be ready to lead. That's not going to happen until he makes his mistake.
I will leave you to your plotting, and she kind of looks at the board, raises an eyebrow at you and goes, losing to Aunt Helena, and just kind of smiles and, like, gives him a small hug as she kind of drifts out the door.
You know the next move! He just curses and hits the table.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. We catch up with Allegra Dorsey, passing through the halls, and coming in the other direction is Bastian Will. He seems alarmed. My lady, have you seen
Bastian?
Donella?
No, where is she? Where did you last
I
see
do
her?
not know. I went to fetch her a refill of her cup, and when I returned to the table, she was gone.
Where did you leave her?
At the table where we were sat, conversing, she was looking through the letters. I left for only a moment.
And how did she seem before you left? Distracted, distressed?
Distracted. She was looking at the letters. She didn't seem upset, just reading. But Allegra, there is trouble in this castle. And not just because I walked in here like a pompous fool.
No, you're
The
telling
men
me.
at the table, they are talking about spies.
Of course they are.
Yes, but I believe them. Allegra, listen. I would like it if you and Donella would come south with me to House Will. This is no place for you. It is dangerous.
Right now?
Yes. Well, when
I
the storm
can't.
passes a little. No, Allegra, this is not a safe place. I'm going very French. Don't mind it.
Bastian, I can't leave my husband.
Allegra, he is about to leave you. And I'm going to roll for Bastian Will to convince you in this moment. And I have 2 test dice on my screen. And this apocalypse is the bane of Allegra because she now has to deal with Bastian Will. Thank you, Apocalypse, for fueling my fires. Alright. Is that right? No, that's... Hang on. Gotta add another dice.
Oh, Jesus. You cannot... Oh!
No, I rolled that wrong. That's not right.
Okay,
Try
thank
again. Roll. That was D7s. 8, D6, keep, 7. Oh, good.
That's
30.
3 times my entry defense.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
So he convinces you of the fact there is a danger to you in this castle and a danger to Danella.
Mm-hmm.
I will go and find your daughter. Gather your things.
Bastion,
Yes.
but tomorrow. Give me tonight, at least.
These mountains are a nightmare in the dark.
Yes.
I will keep you safe, Allegra.
You'd better.
You'll
Let's
never
go
let
find
anything
Danella.
happen to this face. And he kind of strokes your cheek.
Oh no, it's
You are
doubtful! No! Why did
Alright.
I buy him? No! Hosted by
He
my own
is
seduction.
Convinced you are the one for him, and he's going to rescue you from this
Fuck.
terrible house. Alright. He says he's going to go this way and look for Danella. You go
Yeah.
back to the hall in case she's just under a table somewhere, because he remembers
Yeah.
Simon's hole.
I know how Janella do.
So he disappears off into the depths of Storm's End, because that's a sensible place for a world to be walking. Meanwhile,
Sure is.
Jocelyn, you've emerged from your room. You're in your beautiful gown with your stags and the waves, and you are a pirate queen. And you're pretty sure you're going to have to kill Allegra Dorsey later. But that's a problem for later, you maybe. And as you kind of return to the scene of the hall, you're met by Nicholas Rivers, who's having a terrible evening. Everything is going wrong for him. And it's still raining, Nick. I'm sorry, it's still raining. It's like the Riverlands never stops here. Only here you get thunder and
Ooh.
lightning as well.
Lady Jocelyn.
Nicholas? Why are you not at the feast?
I was about to cut someone in your father's hall, and I decided not to do it. May I ask where you're going?
Oh, you know, make the rounds of the room like I usually do.
So, kind of heard in that room in there that you a water dancer from Bravos.
Yes, that's correct.
You know what's funny, sorry, I called you by the wrong name, Lady Jocelyn, that I have never heard of you before.
The Bravosi train many excellent swords. Perhaps
Yeah, I
it is
know
no
that.
surprise.
And he kind of like sets up, do like just for a little bit. He kind of looks at you and goes, "My lady, there's something about you that's bothering me. I don't know what it is, but whatever you think you're about to do, don't do it. I ain't begging. I ain't pleading. I'm just asking."
Take care of yourself, Nicholas. No doubt you will be a credit to your house one day.
Me, a credit to my house? Yeah, right. But you know what? Met me onto something. And he shakes his finger a little bit, and he says, "When you're in Bravos, look me up sometime." And he gives you a wink, and he walks off. Because he's just like, I'm having a bad night. Need to do my job. I might need to wind up protecting somebody's Allegra soon. I don't know. He just left because he's just like, I'm having a bad night. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go back to Bravos now.
You walk to find your quarters. You've been kind of shown where the guests were all sleeping. There's a large room that's been set aside for kind of the lesser nobility type guests, because there aren't private chambers for everyone, even in a castle as large as Storm's End. And as you pass the window, you look out again to that shoreline, and that ship with the sails unfurled is now much further away. You can see all 3 of its sails now down, white in the dark of the storm. Its little lantern swinging. Tiny little glow bug attached to the ship. Someone has left into the storm.
Fuck! That's all he says, just muttering to himself, fuck!
And as that word resounds, we're going to cut to Jocelyn and Allegra. Where do you find each other in this moment?
I think maybe Jocelyn bumps into Allegra as she's walking corridors trying to find Danella. This fucking girl,
Alright.
I swear to God. Put a bell on her.
Yes, let's do it.
So there's a fuck that
Lady
rings out through the
Dorsey.
halls, echoes, feet. Lady
Mhm.
Dorsey.
Lady Baratheon.
And Lady Dorsey. The food
Just
not
by
to your
chance
liking
before-
here.
I find I've not much of an appetite. I've been feeling a bit nauseous lately. Sea travel, it's not agreeing with me. You haven't perchance seen my daughter, have you? She's wandered off.
No, sorry, can't say that I have. Well, if the travel
Something
doesn't
on your
agree with
mind?
you. Oh, I was just merely saying if the travel doesn't agree with you, I could show you a few ways to keep your sea legs underneath you.
And Allegra just immediately sort of fixes her with this look of, are you trying to flirt with me right now?
Please, my Lady
Oh,
Dorsey.
That's not what you're doing at all. My dear girl,
For-
you know who you're talking to, do you not?
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
The Westeros wench, I've heard, in the halls. Amongst other
One of
less polite names. And yet, the
They get
very
more
lords that
creative
say
every year.
those words, they really do, and yet the very lords that say those words come out to find me, and then get very upset when I rebuff them. So tell me, Jocelyn, is that what you're after?
Guess it's lucky for both of us I'm not a lord then.
Perhaps so. Alright, I'm just gonna roll seduction. I'm just like, she's
Yeah,
doing that.
make
She's
your
just
rolls,
going.
Mutual seductions are happening. Oh, I saw a finger from
28.
Oh,
home.
Lord. Okay. I'm
Pope,
so
what's
sorry.
your finger
Where
while
is
Anna's
this?
rolling? 1 second.
On the
Anna,
sheet.
Pope.
Remember, you have that bonus die, and this is probably your last roll.
Yes. You have
Yep.
a bonus die on screen. So Persuasion is the skill, and then the specialty is Seduce, which is under Persuasion.
All right. All right. Hold on. Sorry. I clicked the wrong button.
You're fine.
Still good, but not enough. I don't think.
It's 1 degree, which isn't enough to knock her out. I think Allegra leans forward. She steps real close into Jocelyn's space. She puts a hand on her chin and a finger on her lips and says, "My dear girl, I can teach you things that make your hair curl and your thighs quake. But I have other things to do today. And she sort of boops her on the nose and turns and leaves. With a little wiggle hip shake.
And I'm going to
think-
say that gives Jocelyn a moment of hesitation. But Anna, you may make one final action, and that will be the last action of today's game. And then I have a post-credit scene, and we will be wrapping up this episode.
Seeing the retreating back of Allegra walking down the hall, Jocelyn's head goes to a weapon that she always keeps near her. She always is armed with something, little dagger at the waist kind of thing. Her hand closes around the hilt. But she can't do it. You see her turn and walk back down the hallway, and anyone looking over the horizon at this point during the storm would see the silhouette of the Antler's Salt slowly making its way out of Storm's End
I have some
and
bad news
towards
for
the
you
horizon.
about
Oh
that
no.
ship.
Oh
As you
no!
run down to the docks to flee Storm's End, your ship is gone. And this leads me nicely into the
Great.
post-credits scene. We see a storm-battered ship. The bell rings out in the dark. The lamplight is glowing. Attached to the mast is a naked man who is stifling and crying and having a very bad time. And at the ship's helm, we see a man with a giant hat, feather a little limp from the storm. And the famous pirate Enzo Sal has taken the Antler's Salt and is sailing away north. Apparently, pirate wars are also coming to Westeros.
Are you kidding me?
There is another thief in Storm's End. Danella Dorsey had interest in that table of gifts. She'd hoped to steal a Valyrian steel sword. Yanis Dorsey would really like one of those, she was pretty sure. But unfortunately, there was something shinier on the table. Something a little smaller that would fit easily into her skirts. And Bastion Will had just noticed she was missing. So she pockets the item from the gift table and disappears into the corridors of Storm's End. Perhaps she can steal the sword tomorrow. That is the end of today's session. As treachery, bribery, alliances, blood, fire, and fury and juice are all ours here at Storm's End. I want to say a massive thank you to my cast. They've stayed over time. I kept being like, can we just play a little bit longer, just a little bit? Unfortunately, Nat had to run to go and play on Chromatic Chimera. We're going to go and raid them in a second, but let's go around and do our outros. Massive thank you to everyone who's watching live. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for all of those donations. Things are happening, and I didn't expect all of them, and it's wonderful. A massive thank you. We're going to go same order as introduction, so thank you so much, Pope. I'd like to know your favorite part and where we can find you on the internet.
Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. If you want to see more of this ridiculous face, well, tune in to channel Matev7 every other Sunday for Masks Sunset City. It's good to be in Westeros. It's good to be a lord. And it's good to be with these amazing people. Favorite parts, getting to Batman and bicker about the castle, showing up behind folks and just being absolutely terrible. But on that note of absolutely terrible, I have that truth.
You do.
Truth
I was going to
is-
sneak it in after cast outros, but now is great. Hit me with it.
Truth is, in the morning, Bastion Will is nowhere to be found.
And I will add my
like-
truth to that. Oh, go ahead.
It's like the ghosts of the keep had business to deal with.
I like it, and I will add my truth to that next session. Thank you so much, Pope. Thank you so much, audience. Nat's truth, in case anyone missed it, was to make Jocelyn a spy, and that he knew about it. So thank you so much for those truths. They really do change the world, and I love them very much. Thank you so much to Deirdre for joining us today as the wonderful Delilah Baratheon, who I want to see more of. What's your favorite part? Where can we find you?
I'm glad you all enjoyed it. As for my favorite part, I loved watching everything and just this slow devolution of like, everything's fine, and then you realize how much it's not underneath. Also, I fully admit that I loved watching like Pope watched Lord Darren and Allegra just go at it, and I kind of feel bad for Allegra, but Delilah doesn't, because it's like she knows her daddy can fix everything. But as for me, hey y'all, you know me. You can find me on Twitter at Deirdre on Twitter, or Praxis as Metaphorias. You can find me around on Twitch. And tonight, in actually an hour and 20 minutes, you can find me over on Wandering DM's channel for, if you thought this was juicy and full of intrigue, I'm playing Castle Falkenstein, and I get to play the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, who makes Allegra look not kind, less whorish.
We don't judge here.
Gotta
Please
respect
do
it.
go and check it out.
I'm not judging at all. It's like the Contessa has a great skill, and she likes using it for information. But other than that, check my Twitter, because I was supposed to where I'm going to be, all the fun things I get to do, all the fun people I get to play with, and all the great things. And I love all of you. Thank you for letting me come play with you all, Charlie. Thank you, Susie, for letting me riff off of this, because this was so much fun. And again, it was great to play with all of you.
Thank you so much. Please do go and check out Deirdre, and please go and check out Nat. We're going to go and raid, but Nat does some wonderful stuff, including layout design for games and things. So if you are making RPGs, please do hit up Nat for some wonderful design. And also go and check out on Tuesdays over on Cobalt Press, the GM's tips, tricks, and Tuesdays stuff with Nat and Lydia. That's at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was going to say Jocelyn, but that's not your real name. Anna. Friend.
Hi. Oh my goodness. Where do I begin with this? Hello, everybody. I'm Anna. I'm also Nymeria everywhere on the internet, which is mostly where I hang out nowadays, except I think I'm going to go just lie down after what just happened here today. It was an absolute delight to get to play with all of you and also be part of the sort of like wider canon universe that we have going on with all these tabletop games. It is to date now the only stream I have actually gotten nervous for beforehand, because I was just like, it's such a big world and I get to play in it and I can't wait. Favorite part of today's session? God, it's the reveal with Enzo stealing my fucking ship. I'm so mad about that. Love you, Tom, but I'm super mad about that. What else was I supposed to say? Oh yeah, where else you can find me. If you want to come back and watch me stay on a ship that will hopefully remain in my possession, I also play in the Sword of Kayla Star Trek game here on the channel. I've got a couple of really awesome Call of Cthulhu stuff coming up when we do EncounterCon, which is our whole like big community tabletop extravaganza. So if you want to go search for Atlantis in the Eldritch horror that is Florida in the 1920s, go ahead and check that out on our Discord. Yeah, I think that's all I have to plug for right now. Thanks for letting me join you all and, raking me over the coals a little bit with that. That was awesome.
Your poor lover is having a rough time. I'm sure Enzo will let him down eventually. Nick Klaus, speaking of a rough time, Brittany, thank you so much for playing, and I'm sorry that Nick Klaus has such a terrible time.
He'll be okay, and honestly, Also, like, Anna, I was nervous as heck, but then, like, as we got started, I'm like, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany. You can find me at Brittany B. Writes. You can find me on Discord as Brittany the Protector, because I had to protect somebody around here. My favorite part is when Niklaus just kind of snapped at those three guys. I just like, just let him have it, please. Let him have it, and he got it. But and then at the same time, he's having a horrible time here in Storm's End. I think he feels like he screwed up because he's like, was I supposed to do something else? Oh no! Been to school and everything. So yeah, I want to come back one day, but oh well.
Well, I will say this now, there are more guest seats coming up on the channel. Probably not 5 at once again, but this was so much fun to be able to have so many new people to add to the canon. And I can't wait to have more people join this universe, our Fireverse. After the fire, yes. Sorry, I like this t-shirt. I only got it today. I'm very excited about it. Something I'm very excited about is that Susanna Grace put up with everything that just happened for 3 hours and 43 minutes.
I Go ahead, Charlie.
I thought I was gonna have to tell you to be gentle on them. I mean, that was before I saw the scheming that they were up to, and I was like, no, that's it. She's in trouble.
Honestly, the temptation to scroll up in that Discord chat, I have been sat on my hands, and I said to Justin, my husband, I'm like, if you see me scrolling in a Discord message, slap the phone from my hands. I need to not know what they're scheming about. But holy fuck, I didn't realize I was signed up for 3 hours of just being dunked on by everybody. Holy shit. Where was this stuff about me being a Blackfire spy came from? I mean, yes, me, Susie, but you got the wrong character, fam. You want Miria Greenmont. She's in the Reach. Allegra Dorsey loves the crown. My favorite parts of the day was basically any time Allegra got to talk to any of the Baratheons, because those people came to play. And that conversation with Darren, where Allegra just laid it on the table, having these two extremely strong intrigue characters like face off, was fantastic. And of course, getting to flirt with Anna, because getting to flirt with anyone is a great day. So it was wonderful to, and it was the first time Allegra has flirted with someone and not followed through the seduction. So it's a first. It's a first. But yeah,
Never
so yeah, I'm
scammer.
Susie. Oh. I'm Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer. I do video games, I do art streams, I do tabletop RPGs. Find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. You'll next find me tomorrow here for Call of Cthulhu at 2 p.m. Eastern, where I play the amazing, strong, buff, amazing, incredible knight Sasana. And then if you're like Game of Thrones, you'll find me on Thursday for After the Fire, which is on Follow Black Cats at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's set in the same sort of time period-ish. We're 5 years ahead of this game, and it's the same universe. So House Dorsey exists in that one, and all this kind of deal. That's me.
And the important note about that is next week here on Encounter Roleplay for this game, we will be doing the Siege of Tyrosh. And everyone in After the Fire wants to know how that siege goes because it has an effect on the world. So very excited for that. Please do come back. And I'm very curious to see if Allegra actually survives till next week. Anna and I need to have a conversation. Bastian Will is missing. Who knows? We'll find out. But next week we will be battling for Tyrosh. And as for the rest of this week, we have a huge lineup. We have all of our shows running from Monday all the way through Friday. And on Sunday, we have an extra special one-shot that just got added over the weekend. We are playing Accent Punk, which is a hip-hop inspired cyberpunk game. The wonderful Penny for a Tale will be DMing that for us. It's at Kickstarter right now. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. They are heading for their goal, but they're not quite there yet. And we want to push them over that line because the artwork's incredible and the game sounds really, really fun. So please do come and check us out for that. And as Anna mentioned, we have EncounterCon signups going on the Discord. And I'm going to sign us out, not with a goodbye from me, but with a song from Noir. So take it away, Noir, and we will see you all very soon here on Encounter Roleplay.
Adeline, what have you done? Murdered a god, now they want someone. Allegra points the finger, but the case is done now. Revenge is a dish that's best served cold. Gone away that feast outside your hold. You hope they buy that lie you told. Crownlands, the fire's meant for our head. Keep close the secrets or you'll end up dead. Here in the land with the weddings red. Crownlands, the fire's meant for our head. Keep close your secrets or you'll end up